silence. Then, a flash of light. A Dementor's chilling breath in a Muggle alley. Harry's wand is drawn. But no one's supposed to know he's a wizard here. Not now, not like this. The Ministry's watching. The wizarding world is split. And while Dumbledore is silent, Voldemort is rising. They call it a school year. But what's coming is a war. Welcome to Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, where rebellion begins and truth is the most dangerous spell of all. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to BookPodCastZone.
I'm Emma.
And I'm John, your guide on this deep dive into the heart of the wizarding world. Today, we're embarking on an incredible journey through Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. And wow, this book isn't just another installment, is it?
Oh, not at all.
It's really the book where everything shifts. Harry goes from being this, traumatized, worried teenager, understandably, to a truly defiant leader.
Absolutely. It's a huge transformation.
And the whole wizarding world finds itself right on the brink of open war. So we're going to unpack those profound changes, the psychological battles, the really crucial turning points that make this story so pivotal.
And I'm John, here to help connect those dots. We'll look at Rowling's amazing storytelling and see how it echoes, real-world history and offers some pretty deep psychological insights. Our mission today, using the great summaries from BookPodCastZone, is to go beyond just knowing what happens.
Right.
We want to dig into the why. Why does it matter? How do these fantastic elements resonate with real-world experiences? We all recognize things like truth, denial, and rebellion.
Exactly. So get ready to dive deep with us. Let's see this story through some new eyes.
The Summer Scars and the Call to Arms, chapters 1 to 3.
Okay, so we jump right into chapter 1, Dudley Demented. And wow, it just grabs you immediately, doesn't it?
Instantly, the tone is set.
Harry's stuck back on Privet Drive, and Rowling just paints his picture of his summer as a total pressure cooker of boredom and worry. You really feel it.
You really do. That simmering anxiety about Voldemort's return.
Yeah, you're just immersed in his restless, isolated mind. Such a stark contrast to the magical world he's, desperate to get back to.
And then, boom.
Exactly. Out of nowhere, that Dementor attack. In a dark alley, on him and Dudley, it just completely shatters that stifling quiet.
In a Muggle neighborhood, no less, which is the first huge question mark.
Right. Harry saves them, quick spell work, but it leaves him and us just reeling. Why are Dementors here? It immediately sets up this incredible sense of dread and mystery.
Right, from page 1.
But beyond just the immediate danger, what really hits home for me in Dudley Demented is that feeling of Harry's isolation, his suppressed anger.
He's completely cut off.
Trapped, right. No news from his friends, nothing from the wizarding world, just stewing in the knowledge that Voldemort is back while everyone else, especially the Ministry, is just denying it.
So how does Rowling make that internal state, that frustration, feel so incredibly real, almost like a physical presence itself?
Well, that's where her skill really shines, I think. She doesn't just tell us he's frustrated.
No, she shows us, immerses us.
Exactly. Through his thoughts, the oppressive atmosphere of Privet Drive, you feel that pressure cooker through his restlessness, the unanswered questions just eating at him.
The sheer helplessness of it all.
Yeah. And this amazing psychological buildup makes the Dementor attack feel, shocking, obviously, but almost like a logical next step, an external manifestation of his internal despair.
That's a great way to put it. The Dementors, these creatures that feed on happiness and hope, they literally embody the emotional state he's trapped in.
So it connects his personal struggle, fighting his own fear, his desperation for information, directly to the larger creeping evil.
And it hooks us emotionally right from the start. His vulnerability, his anger, it's all incredibly relatable, even in this fantastical context.
And this idea, the unseen psychological attack of the Dementors, which, as you mentioned, Rowling, based on her own experiences with depression, it really highlights that theme of pervasive, intangible fear.
It really does. And it echoes those post-World War II anxieties, doesn't it? That fear of unseen enemies.
Like the Cold War.
Exactly, like the Cold War anxieties. The fear of communist infiltration, the threat wasn't always this big, obvious military thing.
No, it was insidious.
Yeah.
A shadow. Subversion.
Precisely.
That connection is so strong. The psychological weight of not knowing who or what to trust. I mean, you saw that kind of anxiety take hold in everyday American life during things like the Red Scare, right?
Absolutely. The constant vigilance against, perceived subversion, people building backyard bomb shelters.
Yeah. This general atmosphere of suspicion, even between neighbors, it really resonates with Harry feeling like he's under constant Ministry scrutiny. Who's watching? What's the real danger?
And then there's the Ministry's denial, just flat out refusing to accept Voldemort's return, despite the evidence.
It's maddening, and it echoes moments in, say, U.S. history where officials or institutions just downplayed or denied looming problems.
Definitely. You can think of maybe early responses to some environmental disasters where scientific warnings were just brushed aside.
Or economic downturns where the severity was initially understated.
Right. And what happens? Public distrust grows. It festers. Just like Harry's growing distrust of the Ministry's authority, their judgment, he knows what he saw.
For those of you listening to the audiobook version from BookPodCastZone, you really get that feeling. Their Dementor sounds are chilling. They genuinely make your heart race. It enhances that psychological terror we were just talking about.
And then the Patronus moment.
Oh, it's such a contrast.
Yeah.
The narrator's warm, steady tone just offers this powerful burst of hope. It's almost like a sonic representation of Harry pushing back his will.
It really shows the power of audio, doesn't it? Conveying that tension and then that sudden relief. It underscores his resilience.
Absolutely.
And Rowling's craft here, it's not just plot points. It's about grounding us immediately in Harry's emotional state. That is the conflict, right from the start.
Yeah, by dropping him into danger and then just denying him any information.
She creates this palpable sense of injustice, of desperation. It drives everything forward. You feel his isolation amplifying the threat, making it so intensely personal.
It really makes you think, what stands out to you about how isolation can make even a huge global threat feel so much more terrifying, so much more personal? If you're finding this dives into Harry's isolation compelling, remember to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps us keep these conversations going.
Okay, so from that intense, almost silent battle in the alley, we crash right into Chapter 2, A Peck of Owls. And it is just bureaucratic chaos unleashed.
Utter chaos is right. Owls flooding Privet Drive.
Ministry letters everywhere, including that shocking Hogwarts expulsion notice. BookPodCastZone's narration here is great. It really captures that feeling of being overwhelmed, the absurdity of it all.
It's almost comical if it weren't so serious for Harry.
Exactly. And then, amidst all that, you get this fantastic, surprising reveal. Mrs. Fig is a squib.
I love that moment. It adds this incredible layer of intrigue, doesn't it, to his supposedly mundane surroundings.
Totally. But the real kicker, the thing that makes you so angry, is the Ministry's accusations. It's just blatant denial, refusing to face the truth about Voldemort's return, leaving Harry absolutely reeling, completely isolated again, but this time isolated in his truth while the official channels are attacking him.
This chapter's just packed with themes, isn't it? You see this blatant, bureaucratic overreach.
Oh, yeah. The Ministry weaponizing its power against a kid, basically, for defending himself.
And it's such a stark illustration of truth versus denial. An institution literally choosing to suppress facts, punish the truth teller.
Rather than confront a terrifying reality, it's classic institutional self-preservation.
But then you also get that hint of hope, the emergence of hidden allies like Mrs. Fig.
Exactly. People operating under the radar. And Harry's fight against this injustice, against being silenced, it really begins here, doesn't it?
His first major clash with the system.
Yeah, a system prioritizing its own comfort, its own narrative over objective reality. It sets him firmly on that path of defiance that defines this whole book.
And those ministry tactics, using fear, accusations to control the story, discredit witnesses.
It has such strong echoes of things like the McCarthy-era witch hunts in the U.S., doesn't it?
Absolutely. That period in the 50s, baseless allegations of communist sympathies, ruining lives, careers, all under the guise of national security.
Yeah, fear-driven accusations leading to blacklisting, public suspicion.
Rowling is definitely tapping into that broader pattern of authoritarian suppression of truth. We've seen it in so many regimes where dissent is just labeled disloyalty.
And inconvenient facts are just erased or denied to maintain power.
And thinking about American history, there are definitely moments where government efforts to control narratives or silence dissent had really damaging consequences for individuals.
Sure.
You could look way back at the Alien and Sedition Acts in the late 1700s, criminalizing criticism of the government.
Or later, things like COINTELPRO in the mid-20th century, where government agencies actively monitored, sometimes disrupted, groups they considered subversive.
Right. The concept is the key thing here, isn't it? Suppressing information to maintain control, create an official story regardless of the specific politics or era. It's a powerful parallel to what the Ministry is doing to Harry.
It really highlights how easily fear and that desire for order can be weaponized against people speaking uncomfortable truths.
And for the audiobook listeners, that owl flurry in this chapter, BookPodCastZone makes it a real soundscape gem.
The pacing is great.
Yeah, it mirrors that frantic chaos perfectly. You can almost feel the flapping wings, the sheer volume of owls descending on Privet Drive.
And the voice from Mrs. Figg.
Oh, it's brilliant. The narrator gives her this initially unassuming, then surprisingly sharp, quirky voice. It gives you that perfect hint that there's way more to her than meets the eye.
Foreshadowing her secret role beautifully.
It's such a clever narrative move by Rowling, weaving suspense and even a bit of humor into what's a really serious, terrifying moment for Harry.
Yeah, she makes us question who his allies are, presents this absurd but terrifying bureaucratic nightmare, keeps you completely engaged and on edge.
It perfectly balances the absurdity with the very real stakes.
This chapter really makes you reflect, doesn't it, on how easily a system can turn against an individual when fear takes over and the truth becomes inconvenient.
Definitely. What do you think is the biggest danger when institutions prioritize denial over truth, especially when that denial puts people, public safety at risk?
That's a heavy question. The potential consequences are enormous.
If you're grappling with these ideas alongside us, do remember to like, subscribe, and share. We love hearing your thoughts, too. Okay, so from the chaos of Ministry Owls, we get Chapter 3, The Advance Guard. And it's such a welcome relief.
A breath of fresh air, absolutely.
This colorful crew of Order members just swoops in. You've got the brilliantly chaotic Tonks, the formidable Mad-Eye Moody.
Ever vigilant.
Always. And they just whisk Harry away from Privet Drive to safety. BookPodCastZone's character voices here really bring this flight to life. You feel like you're right there with them, rushing through the night.
It's a real moment of action and escape.
Then Harry arrives at Grimmauld Place, and despite all the danger, there's this profound sense of relief, of hope almost.
Yeah, you feel it immediately. It sets up the Order's role perfectly, doesn't it, as this beacon of resistance.
Totally. This moment hits hard with themes of loyalty and camaraderie. After all that isolation, the Ministry betrayal.
He's suddenly surrounded by people who believe him.
Right. People willing to risk everything for the cause who actually care about him. This is where that theme of resistance really starts to take shape, doesn't it?
It becomes tangible.
Rowling masterfully shows that collective action, finding your tribe, uniting for a purpose. That's where Harry's true strength is going to lie.
It's no longer just him against the world. He has a team, a family, really.
Ready to fight alongside him.
And that idea of collective action, of safe havens, it's so key here. The relief Harry feels is palpable, especially after Privet Drive.
Huge contrast.
And the Order itself, operating in secret, directly mirrors those real-world WWII resistance groups, like the French resistance, partisan movements across occupied Europe.
Working underground, operating in plain sight sometimes.
Exactly. Undermining the regime, sharing intelligence, rescuing people, planning defiance, all in secret.
And Grimmauld Place itself, this hidden safe house, right in the middle of a Muggle street.
It perfectly evokes those secret havens, those operational bases that were absolutely vital for survival and planning during those times.
It really makes you think about similar examples in U.S. history, doesn't it? Those underground networks or safe houses operating in secret to help people.
Like the Underground Railroad.
Exactly. Helping enslaved people escape to freedom. That whole hidden network of safe houses, the conductors guiding them. The risk was immense.
Or even during the Civil Rights Movement. Activists often needed discreet safe havens, secret meeting spots, especially when facing hostile authorities or extremist groups.
Yeah, these weren't public organizations. They were hidden, loyal collectives where the risk was enormous. But that shared purpose created these incredibly strong, unbreakable bonds.
It's that same spirit, that quiet, determined resistance and mutual protection that you feel immediately with the Advance Guard.
And for the audiobook listeners, that broomstick flight book podcast zone makes it really thrilling with the sound effects. You feel the wind, the speed.
And Tonks.
Oh, Tonk's playful banter during this high-stakes escape really steals the show, doesn't it?
It does. It gives you a glimpse of the personalities within the Order, makes them instantly relatable, adds a touch of levity amidst the danger.
It's brilliant character introduction.
Rowling's skill here is undeniable. She introduces this dynamic cast so quickly, makes each one from quirky Tonks to grizzled Moody instantly memorable and vital.
Yeah, their personalities, the immediate sense of camaraderie they show Harry. It solidifies the Order as this crucial, compelling force, shows the power of unity, of chosen family.
So when you look at this moment, that immediate arrival of these loyal allies, what does it tell us about where Harry's true strength really lies in this story moving forward?
It's definitely not just in his own magic. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the start of the Resistance, remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
Grimald's Secrets and Ministry's Blight, chapters 4 to 8.
Okay, so we move from the thrill of arrival right into Chapter 4, number 12, Grimald Place. And the mood shifts instantly, doesn't it?
Dramatically plunges Harry into this eerie, almost suffocating atmosphere.
Yeah, the headquarters. It's described as decaying, dust-filled, steeped in dark magic. BookPodCastZone's moody narration really enhances that oppressive, haunted feeling.
You can almost smell the decay.
Totally. And Harry gets his proper reunion with Sirius, which is wonderful on one level.
But it's immediately overshadowed, isn't it, by his frustration?
It's frustration.
Yeah.
Because he's still being kept in the dark about everything, sidelined again.
And that sets up such a major part of his arc in this book, his rebellion against being protected, against being treated like a child.
Exactly.
This chapter really digs into those complex family ties and the overwhelming theme of secrecy.
He's supposed to be protected inside Grimald Place, but that protection comes at a huge cost, right? His sidelined agency.
Rowling explores that tension brilliantly. The desire to protect someone, especially a young person in danger, versus their need for autonomy, their need to understand and participate in their own fate.
So his isolation continues, but now it's within the claustrophobic walls of a safe house, which is almost ironic.
It adds this whole new layer to his struggle for independence, for information.
And the house itself.
Yeah.
The Black family's dark legacy. It's not just dusty, it's steeped in pure-blood obsession, a history of aligning with dark forces.
That draws such a powerful parallel to aristocratic families in our own history, doesn't it? Those with ties to oppressive regimes.
Yeah, like in 20th century Europe, families with sympathies or economic ties to fascism or other authoritarian ideologies.
Exactly. That concept of a family's past, its ideals, its prejudices, its sins, casting this long, inescapable shadow over the descendants.
It's brought to life so vividly through Sirius's torment. And the house itself feels like a character embodying that dark history.
While maybe not direct parallels to fascism in the same way, that idea of a family legacy impacting an individual, especially one burdened by a difficult past, definitely resonates in the U.S. too.
Oh, for sure. You think about the complex histories of some prominent American families, maybe whose wealth was built on morally questionable things like slave labor or exploitative industries.
And how later generations grapple with that past, trying to atone or forge a completely new identity.
Right, it's that internal conflict, belonging to this problematic heritage while trying to forge your own, maybe more ethical identity.
Yeah.
That's what makes Sirius's struggle so compelling. He's fighting against these deeply ingrained historical attitudes and expectations.
Absolutely.
And for those listening on BookPodCastZone, the narration makes the house a character. You hear the creaking floors, the whispering portraits come alive. It amplifies that oppressive, haunted feeling.
And Sirius's voice.
Yeah, the narrator gives him this weary tone right from the start. It deeply foreshadows the tragedy to come for him, hints at the weight of his past in his current confinement.
It's masterful how Rowling crafts this setting. Grimald Place isn't just a backdrop, it's a living entity. Its decay mirrors Harry's inner conflict, that sense of being trapped.
Oppressive, filled with dark memories. It perfectly reflects Harry's own frustrated state, making his desire for agency even stronger.
So, how does being kept in the dark, even if it's supposedly for your own safety, often lead to more intense frustration and this desperate desire for independence rather than, gratitude or compliance?
That's a tough balance. If this exploration of secrets and legacy resonates with you, please do like, subscribe, and share. We appreciate your support. Then in Chapter 5, The Order of the Phoenix, Harry finally starts to get some answers. He learns about the Order's dangerous secret mission to fight Voldemort.
Finally, some real information.
Right. And BookPodCastZone's narration here does a great job balancing that glimmer of hope with the underlying tension. Harry reconnects with Ron and Hermione, other allies.
That reunion is so needed for him.
Totally. And the chapter really highlights the group's resolve, doesn't it? Their determination to act, even while the Ministry is actively denying everything.
It's a crucial moment for understanding the stakes and seeing this unified front forming.
This is where we really see collective resistance taking shape. This determined group of witches and wizards united against tyranny.
And there's that sense of hope amidst fear that permeates their discussions, even though the reality is incredibly grim and the risks are huge.
The importance of trust becomes paramount here too, right? So much of their operation depends on secrecy.
Absolutely critical. Rowling really emphasizes that unity against evil, coming together for a common purpose, isn't just the right thing to do. It's the only viable strategy against such a powerful, insidious enemy.
That concept of collective purpose, clandestine operations, it's vital for understanding how resistance works.
Definitely. The Order's secrecy, their underground work against a corrupt government and a rising dark power. It vividly recalls those anti-Nazi resistance networks during WWII in occupied territories.
Ordinary citizens choosing to defy authority.
Exactly. Gathering in secret, sharing information, rescuing people, planning acts of resistance, often at immense personal risk. The Order embodies that same spirit of quiet, determined defiance against overwhelming odds.
And thinking about U.S. history, you see parallels with groups facing huge pressure or opposition, having to organize secretly.
Like early labor unions.
Yeah, meeting in hidden basements or back rooms to avoid retaliation, forming the bedrock of the workers' rights movement.
Or civil rights organizers planning strategies in discreet, safe locations to avoid detection by hostile authorities or extremist groups.
Right. These situations highlight how groups understood the immense risk, but their determination to unite in secret ultimately strengthened their resolve and laid the groundwork for bigger movements later on.
That risk and determination build incredible bonds.
For the audiobook listeners, BookPodCastZone handles the emotional range here really well. The narrator's warm tones during reunions are so comforting.
Provides those moments of genuine connection.
Yeah, beautifully contrasting with the tense order discussions. It pulls you right into that complex emotional landscape, highlights the personal stakes for everyone.
Rowling really builds a powerful sense of purpose here. By laying out the Order's daunting mission, this secret war against a force the government denies, she makes their fight feel incredibly compelling, morally urgent.
You understand what they're up against, and you
Right.
can't help but admire their courage, their commitment.
It effectively rallies the reader to their side.
Thinking about those daunting challenges, how absolutely crucial is it, do you think, to find your tribe and commit to that collective purpose when the world feels like it's falling apart?
It seems almost essential for survival, mentally and physically.
If you agree or have other thoughts, let us know. And remember to like, subscribe, and share if you're enjoying the discussion. Chapter 6, The Noble and Most Ancient House of Black, takes us even deeper into the chilling history of Grimmauld Place. It really becomes a character itself here.
Oh, absolutely. The house breathes its past.
Sirius reveals his family's troubling history, not just dark magic, but centuries of pure-blood fanaticism, this exclusionary ideology.
BookPodCastZone's narration really deepens that eerie, suffocating vibe as we learn about generations of prejudice baked into the walls.
And Harry, watching Sirius grapple with his own isolation within this oppressive legacy he rejects. He starts to mirror those feelings, doesn't he? Being trapped by history, by circumstances beyond his control.
This chapter powerfully explores the weight of family legacy, the crushing isolation of being an outcast, and the complex nuances of loyalty.
Rowling masterfully delves into inherited burdens, showing how a family's past, its beliefs, prejudices, mistakes, can shape an individual's identity and struggles for generations.
Sirius carries this burden so intensely, a pariah in his own family, fighting a heritage he despises but can't fully escape. It's a powerful look at how identity is shaped by the past.
And the Black family's obsession with pure-blood status.
It draws that chilling parallel to eugenics movements, doesn't it? Those disturbing movements in the early 20th century, including in the U.S., that promoted improving the human race through selective breeding.
Targeting marginalized groups, based on perceived genetic or social inferiority.
Exactly. It's a dark, historical echo that underscores the dangers of exclusionary ideologies, the dehumanization that results when groups are deemed impure.
And discussing bloodlines or perceived social purity in American history, there are deeply troubling echoes there too.
For sure. Discriminatory immigration policies favoring certain ancestries.
Or the historical one-drop rule, defining racial identity based on a fraction of African ancestry, creating violent societal divisions for generations.
You also saw it in exclusionary social clubs, communities built on perceived elite heritage.
Right. The idea of selective ancestry or purity and its devastating consequences of discrimination, violence, or just that deep-seated sense of superiority, it often manifests as this inescapable burden on individuals trying to break free from that shadow.
Fighting against ingrained historical attitudes and a past that clings to you.
For the audiobook listeners, the narrator's somber tone during Sirius's backstory really hits hard. You feel the weight of generations, his personal pain.
Makes his plight incredibly empathetic. And those subtle, creepy house sounds BookPodCastZone weaves in.
They amplify the mood perfectly, making Grimmauld Place feel like this living testament to its dark past, a constant reminder of what Sirius is fighting.
Rowling's ability to link settings so intrinsically to character struggles is phenomenal. She doesn't just tell us the Black family history, she weaves this rich, tragic backstory for Sirius that explains so much about him.
His pain, his yearning for a real family. It makes his sacrifice and his fierce loyalty to Harry even more understandable.
Absolutely. Considering all this, how do we see the weight of history and family legacy impacting individuals, and what does it really take to break free from a problematic past, or at least its influence?
Deep questions. If you're pondering these themes with us, we'd love it if you'd like, subscribe, and share. Okay, next up, Chapter 7, The Ministry of Magic. This takes Harry on this overwhelming, almost Kafkaesque journey right into the heart of the wizarding bureaucracy for his hearing.
Kafkaesque is the perfect word for it. Surreal, overwhelming.
BookPodCastZone's narration captures that dizzying absurdity, the sheer scale of the ministry. Endless corridors, confusing systems, bustling in different crowds.
You feel lost just listening to it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And more importantly, the chapter just hammers home the ministry's continued, infuriating denial of Voldemort's threat. It creates this profound frustration for Harry and for us, because we know the truth.
It's a masterclass in portraying bureaucratic absurdity. You see how this massive institution, supposedly designed for order, gets so bogged down in its own rules, its internal politics.
Its overwhelming desire for self-preservation.
That it completely loses touch with reality. It's a direct, almost farcical conflict of truth versus power.
Where the ministry's authority is actively trying to suppress the very truth that could save them.
And Harry's sheer resilience in the face of this nonsensical, oppressive machine. His refusal to be intimidated is inspiring.
Rowling offers such a powerful critique here of institutional failure, doesn't she? How self-serving systems can endanger everyone under their supposed protection.
Absolutely. And the ministry's inefficiency, its obsession with red tape, rigid protocol, even facing an existential threat. It mirrors those bloated bureaucracies we've seen historically.
Like post-WWI government failures.
Exactly. Where outdated systems, resistance to adaptation led to widespread public dissatisfaction and an inability to address new challenges effectively.
That tendency for large organizations to become insular, self-protective, unresponsive, it's a timeless critique of how power structures can become their own worst enemy.
And in U.S. history, we've certainly seen instances where large governmental or corporate bureaucracies face criticism for inefficiency, red tape, being out of touch.
Yeah, think about initial responses to large-scale disasters like Hurricane Katrina, often slow and cumbersome.
Or just the incredibly complex labyrinthine systems for things like filing taxes or navigating healthcare.
Right. It's not always malicious, but it illustrates those systemic challenges of large institutions prioritizing procedure over practical solutions and urgent needs, leaving people feeling unheard and helpless.
Like Harry feels in that moment.
For those listening to the audiobook, the narrator's crisp delivery of ministry chaos makes the setting so vivid, almost dizzying.
And listen for those quirky magical sound effects, the whirring memos, the clatter of wands. They really pull you into that bizarre, frustrating environment.
Makes it feel real despite being magical.
Rowling doesn't just describe the ministry. She paints this vivid, deeply frustrating portrait of institutional denial. You feel Harry's exasperation, his sense of fighting an invisible wall.
And that frustration is contagious for the reader. It's a powerful statement about how dangerous it is when those in power refuse to acknowledge reality. Their denial becomes a threat in itself.
So have you ever felt like you were navigating a system that was way more interested in its own convoluted rules than in actually solving the problem at hand?
I think many of us have. If you're nodding along, remember to like, subscribe, and share this deep dive. Chapter 8, The Hearing, brings us right into the actual trial. Harry faces this incredibly tense, unfair ministry tribunal.
The pressure is immense. It's clearly designed to intimidate him, silence him.
But then, in this dramatic, unexpected twist, Dumbledore arrives, providing this crucial, calm support.
Subtly turning the tables. BookPodCastZone's dramatic narration really heightens the stakes here, making every accusation, every counter-argument land with impact.
It's such a showcase for Harry's defiance, isn't it? His unwavering courage against these unfair accusations. His refusal to back down even when the whole system is against him.
This is where injustice is put on full, infuriating display. But it's also a powerful testament to courage and the vital role of unexpected allies.
Like Dumbledore stepping in just at the right moment.
Exactly. Rowling highlights the profound importance of fighting for truth, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's actively suppressed by power.
He's not just defending himself from expulsion, he's defending the fundamental reality of Voldemort's return.
Which the Ministry vehemently refuses to accept. Dumbledore's appearance, calm, strategic, authoritative, is this brilliant counterpoint to the chaotic accusations.
His quiet presence just underscores the Ministry's foolishness and Harry's integrity.
And the structure of this trial, the oppressive atmosphere where the verdict seems predetermined.
Yeah, the proceedings feel like a mere formality.
It strongly evokes the chilling reality of show trials in authoritarian regimes, doesn't it? Like the Stalinist purges in the Soviet Union.
Where guilt was assumed, and the trial was just a public spectacle to reinforce the state's narrative, suppress dissent.
The individual's defense was largely irrelevant. It was about demonstrating the regime's absolute arbitrary power, not seeking justice or truth.
And in U.S. history, we've definitely had legal cases that became public spectacles, raising serious questions about fairness, due process, the power imbalance between institutions and individuals.
Especially during times of social upheaval.
Right. Think about the Sacco and Vanzetti trial in the 1920s, which became a global symbol of class and immigrant injustice.
Or even more recent high-profile trials that sparked national debates about systemic biases.
These situations, regardless of outcome, highlight that enduring tension between individual rights and the overwhelming power of the state or public opinion. Harry's trial embodies that desperate, yet ultimately victorious, fight for integrity within a system biased against him.
It does perfectly.
For the audiobook listeners, the narrator's intense pacing during the hearing keeps you completely on edge. You feel every accusatory question, every tense moment.
And then that palpable shift when Dumbledore steps in, his calm voice is such a highlight.
Cuts right through the noise with this serene authority, unexpected reassurance. It's powerful.
Rowling crafts a gripping courtroom drama here, not just a standard trial scene. It's central to Harry's development, the unfolding conflict.
Underscores his unwavering moral compass,
Yeah.
his refusal to be silenced, sets the stage for the deeper institutional conflicts to come.
He becomes the truth teller in a world of denial.
This trial is such a defining moment. What does it tell us about the sheer power of standing up for what's right, even when the odds are stacked overwhelmingly against you, and the system itself seems rigged? Something to think about. If you agree or have your own take, let us know. And please like, subscribe, and share.
New allies, new threats, chapters 9 to 13.
Okay, moving into Chapter 9. The Woes of Mrs. Weasley. And this one delivers such a profoundly emotional gut punch. It really reminds us of the human cost of war.
It really does. It shifts the focus dramatically.
Mrs. Weasley's deep maternal fears for her family just surface in this truly haunting, vulnerable moment. She sees these terrible visions, her loved ones dead, injured.
The Boggart scene, it's devastating.
BookPodCastZone's emotional narration here is perfect. It really tugs at the heartstrings, conveys her raw anguish.
You feel her terror.
Yeah. It's a powerful scene that makes Harry and us truly see the immense emotional, psychological toll of the looming war. It goes way beyond magical battles, right into the heart of a family.
This moment powerfully explores those universal themes: family, the visceral fear of loss, the enduring power of love.
Rowling doesn't shy away from showing the psychological cost. She amplifies it by focusing on a mother's raw vulnerability.
She masterfully underscores the emotional stakes by grounding the grand narrative in intensely personal suffering. It reminds us that even in a magical conflict, the most potent fears are deeply human and relatable, losing those you cherish.
Adds such a layer of empathy to the whole conflict.
And that intense fear of losing loved ones, it directly mirrors the anxieties faced by countless families during, say, World War II.
Oh, absolutely. Families on the home front. Daily life permeated by uncertainty, a quiet dread. Sons, husbands, fathers deployed overseas.
Mothers and wives living with that constant, gnawing fear of a telegram bringing devastating news. Every broadcast carried a deeply personal weight.
That shared national anxiety, especially for those waiting at home, made the war intensely personal. Just like Mrs. Weasley's terrifying visions make the magical war agonizingly real for her and for us watching her.
It powerfully highlights how American families dealt with that immense emotional toll during major conflicts: WWII, Vietnam, post 9/11.
The daily wait for news, the constant background hum of worry scanning casualty lists, it became part of everyday life for so many.
Especially for mothers and spouses, that separation compounded by the perpetual fear of the unknown.
This scene resonates so deeply because it taps into that universal experience of fearing for the safety of those you love most. Makes the abstract conflict feel intensely, painfully personal.
For those listening to the audiobook, the narrator's tearful delivery of Mrs. Weasley's moment is truly gut-wrenching. You hear the raw anguish, the love, the terror in her voice.
Makes the scene incredibly impactful, almost brings you to tears with her.
It's a deeply poignant exploration of maternal love and the vulnerability that comes with it. Rowling uses it to remind us that even the strongest characters have profound vulnerabilities.
And that the war's true impact extends far beyond the battlefield, right into the heart of families and relationships. Elevates the emotional stakes dramatically.
So this moment serves as such a stark reminder. Behind every grand conflict are real people facing immense personal fears. How does seeing this profound emotional cost make the broader war feel more real, more urgent for you?
It certainly does for me. If you feel the same, we hope you'll like, subscribe, and share this conversation.
Okay, Chapter 10 introduces us to one of the most wonderfully quirky and unforgettable characters in the entire series, Luna Lovegood.
Oh, Luna. She's fantastic.
Harry meets her on the Hogwarts Express. BookPodCastZone's whimsical narration just perfectly brings her unique, ethereal personality to life. You get her detached charm immediately.
Yeah, she's just operating on a different frequency, isn't she?
Totally. Her unwavering optimism, her completely unconventional perspective on everything, her comfort with being an outsider. It offers Harry, who's just steeped in angst and worry and ministry denial, this much-needed, refreshing new way of looking at the world.
She's such a breath of fresh air in the mounting darkness. This chapter is all about the unexpected power of friendship found in unlikely places and the profound beauty and strength of fierce individuality.
Lena is a truly unique ally, unbothered by what others think, completely comfortable in her own skin.
And she offers Harry a different kind of hope, doesn't she? Not hope rooted in grand battles, but in authenticity, in freedom of thought.
She shows him that not everyone needs to conform, that dissent can be quiet, and that sometimes the most insightful perspectives come from those who dare to be different.
From the outsiders, who aren't bound by conventional wisdom, Rowling introduces a character who really embodies the strength found in embracing who you are, regardless of judgment.
And that idea of the eccentric outsider offering crucial, often uncomfortable insight, it's incredibly powerful, isn't it? Luna's status directly reflects countercultural figures through our history who challenge norms, whose ideas were initially dismissed as radical, strange, maybe even mad.
Like visionary artists breaking from tradition, or pioneering scientists whose theories were initially scoffed at.
Or social reformers whose ideas seemed absurd before becoming widely accepted. They gained influence by offering new, necessary ways of thinking, forcing society to re-examine its assumptions.
Luna's ability to see beyond the obvious, to believe in what others mock, that's her unique strength. A powerful lesson in independent thought.
And in American history, you can definitely find figures or movements initially seen as outsiders who eventually gained profound influence by challenging norms.
Like the Transcendentalists. Thoreau, Emerson, advocating for radical individualism, challenging conformity.
Or early pioneers in science and tech who were ridiculed before their inventions revolutionized industries.
Or even figures in the 60s counterculture movements, initially marginalized, whose ideas on peace, environmentalism, social justice eventually became mainstream.
These individuals, much like Luna, showed the immense value of independent thought, the courage to pursue unconventional paths, often leading to profound societal shifts.
For the audiobook listeners, the narrator's dreamy tone for Luna is absolutely perfect. It captures her ethereal quality beautifully.
Provides a lovely contrast to Harry's angst and the general gloom, doesn't it? Makes her instantly endearing, a source of quiet inspiration.
Totally.
Rowling doesn't just create a memorable character, she crafts an uplifting one who serves as a vital, emotional, and thematic anchor.
She's not just a sidekick. She's a reminder for Harry and for us that there are different ways to be strong, to be hopeful, to see the truth clearly, even amidst despair and denial.
Her uniqueness is her shield and her wisdom.
So, what profound lessons can we learn from Luna about finding light, embracing individuality, and challenging the status quo, even when the world around seems impossibly dark or dismissive?
She offers a lot to think about.
If Luna's unique perspective resonates with you, let us know. And please do like, subscribe, and share. As Harry returns to Hogwarts, Chapter 11 brings us the Sorting Hat's new song. And this is just deeply ominous, isn't it?
Very unsettling. A real shift in tone from the usual Sorting Hat song.
Right. Usually it's about unity. The virtues of the house is coming together. But this time, his song takes this chilling turn warning of deep, destructive division within Hogwarts itself.
BookPodCastZone's ominous narration sets such a foreboding tone. It feels like a mournful prophecy.
And Harry immediately senses it, doesn't he? The school's shifting, darkening dynamics. Something fundamental has changed in the fabric of Hogwarts.
This chapter is a stark, almost prophetic warning about the insidious nature of unity versus division. It injects this immediate, palpable, foreboding atmosphere into what should be a comforting return.
The theme of change, and clearly not for the better, is so palpable.
Rowling masterfully uses the Sorting Hat, this symbol of Hogwarts traditions, its historical unity to foreshadow the intense conflict and internal strife that will soon grip the school.
It's a chillingly effective use of a beloved element to signal impending doom, the unraveling of cohesion.
And the Hat's warning about internal division, it directly echoes those profound societal fractures we've seen throughout history, like the escalating pre-Civil War tensions in the United States in the 1850s.
Yeah, that growing, irreconcilable chasm between North and South over fundamental issues.
Yeah.
Slavery, states' rights, economic systems.
Leading to legislative gridlock, escalating rhetoric, violence, ultimately secession. The Hat Song warns of a school that could literally tear itself apart from within.
Just as a nation can, when fundamental beliefs and allegiances become irrevocably split.
And thinking about periods in American history marked by such deep divisions, it's not just the Civil War.
No, think about the intense labor versus management conflicts in the late 19th, early 20th centuries. Often violent strikes, profound class divisions.
Or the intense cultural and political divides during the 1960s, civil rights, Vietnam, counterculture polarizing communities, even families.
These moments highlight those crucial warning signs of internal strife. When the very fabric of a society starts to fray, and even unifying symbols start to reflect disunion and pending conflict.
Like the Sorting Hat itself.
For the audiobook listeners, the narrator's eerie delivery of the song really does chill you to the bone. You feel the weight of its prophecy, the sense of impending doom.
It's a brilliant way to convey that deep unease and foreboding conflict through sound and performance. Makes the warning resonate long after the song ends.
It's a remarkably effective narrative device. Rowling uses the Sorting Hat not just for tradition, but as this direct, poetic messenger signaling looming danger and the internal threats emerging within the school's walls.
Shows her mastery of using seemingly small details to foreshadow massive plot developments.
So how do we recognize those early signs of division in our own communities or societies, and what role do warnings like these play, even if they're initially dismissed?
It's about listening, isn't it? Even to uncomfortable truths.
If this discussion about division and warnings strikes a chord, please support us by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Chapter 12 introduces us to a character we all just love to hate. Perhaps one of Rowling's most unsettling creations, Professor Dolores Umbridge.
Umbridge. The pink nightmare.
Exactly. She arrives as the new defense against the dark arts teacher, but her real insidious purpose is clearly to bring ministry control right into the heart of Hogwarts.
To stifle dissent, enforce conformity.
BookPodCastZone's narrator gives her this sugary, sweet voice that perfectly, chillingly masks her true menace, makes her sinister nature even more unsettling.
That politeness is terrifying.
Harry's suspicions about her true intentions grow immediately, setting the stage for their epic ideological clash throughout the book.
This chapter is a chilling exploration of oppression and control disguised in the most outwardly polite, pink, bureaucratic package imaginable.
She represents that institutional crackdown, a creeping totalitarianism trying to control not just actions, but thoughts, beliefs.
And her presence immediately sparks that rising spirit of quiet defiance among the students, especially Harry.
Rowling introduces such a chilling antagonist here. Not overtly evil like Voldemort, wielding dark magic.
No, her form of control feels almost more pervasive, more frustrating, precisely because it works from within the system, undermining education, critical thinking, freedom.
Her cruelty masked by a smile makes it all the more terrifying.
And her method control, disguised as politeness, order, proper procedure, it's so historically resonant. It mirrors the tactics of fascist propaganda ministers, authoritarian regimes.
who didn't always use overt violence initially.
Right. They manipulated language, controlled information, purged libraries, presented oppressive policies as being for the greater good or for order, aiming to stifle critical thought, enforce absolute ideological purity.
She embodies the banality of evil in its most suffocating form.
And in the U.S., we've certainly had public debates about governmental oversight of education or information, attempts to control narratives through seemingly benign language.
Yeah, think about historical periods of heightened patriotism, maybe during wartime, with calls for conformity, loyalty pledges, sometimes leading to suppression of dissenting voices in schools or public discourse.
Or ongoing debates about curriculum control in schools, what history is taught, what literature is allowed, how certain social issues are presented.
These discussions often center on that mechanism of subtle control, where seemingly innocuous policies or language are used to shape thought, limit independent thinking, and force a particular worldview, very much like Umbridge's educational decrees.
For the audiobook listeners, that narrator's cloying tone for Umbridge is just perfectly unsettling, so sweet it makes your teeth ache.
Exactly how she's meant to be received. A polite, sickly sweet veneer over a truly menacing core. The vocal performance makes you viscerally uncomfortable.
Rowling is a master at villains, and Umbridge is arguably one of her most effective, most disturbing. You love to hate her because her evil is so mundane, so bureaucratic.
So recognizable in everyday forms of authoritarianism. She represents the abuse of power from within established systems, makes her relatable in a way Voldemort isn't.
So what makes a seemingly polite, bureaucratic antagonist like Umbridge so much more terrifying and frustrating in many ways than an overt, grand villain like Voldemort?
It's a fascinating question. If you're enjoying hating Umbridge with us, remember to like, subscribe, and share. Okay, Chapter 13, Detention with Dolores, shows us the true, chilling extent of Umbridge's cruelty, how she weaponizes discipline.
This is where her mask fully slips, revealing the sadism underneath.
Harry endures this brutal detention, forced to write lines, "I must not tell lies," with that sinister quill that carves the words into his hand.
Causing immense physical and emotional pain. BookPodCastZone's pain narration makes the punishment incredibly visceral. You can almost feel his hand bleeding.
It's horrific. And this unjust experience just fuels Harry's rebellion even further, solidifying his resolve to stand defiantly against her tyranny and everything she represents.
This chapter is a stark, unforgettable exploration of pure cruelty, but also a powerful, almost agonizing display of defiance and sacrifice.
Rowling doesn't shy away from showing the cost of standing up against oppression, depicting the raw pain Harry endures for his convictions.
It highlights that resistance isn't always glamorous or heroic. Sometimes it's about silently, painfully enduring punishment for your beliefs.
And how that very endurance can strengthen your resolve, inspire others, even when unseen.
And Umbridge's tactics here, using psychological manipulation and physical punishment to break a spirit, compel obedience.
It recalls oppressive disciplinary methods from history, doesn't it? In institutions designed for conformity or authoritarian punishments designed to enforce ideological submission.
Absolutely. In totalitarian regimes, dissidents often face torture or severe physical duress, not just to get information, but to humiliate, dehumanize, break the will.
The core idea is inflicting pain to compel absolute obedience, suppress any resistance, a dark echo of disciplinary practices across time.
And we can find painful parallels in U.S. history, where individuals faced intense personal pain, immense sacrifice for their defiance and social movements.
Like civil rights activists during sit-ins, facing physical assault, dog attacks, arrests.
Or suffragettes being force-fed during hunger strikes in prison to break their will.
Or the brutal tactics used in some historical reform schools or correctional facilities. These were individuals consciously choosing to endure profound physical and psychological tolls rather than give in to unjust authority or renounce their beliefs.
Their personal suffering often became a powerful symbol, demonstrating the immense commitment and moral fortitude required to challenge oppressive systems.
It's about the resolve to stand firm, even when it literally leaves a mark.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's wincing delivery of Harry's pain is truly hard to forget. Makes the punishment feel horrifyingly real, uncomfortable.
You viscerally feel Harry's suffering and his quiet endurance right along with him. Makes you despise Umbridge even more.
Rowling builds incredible, almost unbearable tension through Harry's suffering. It's not gratuitous, it's profoundly purposeful.
Deepens our understanding of Harry's unwavering character, his moral fortitude, his commitment to truth. Shows his defiance isn't just youthful bravado, but a deeply held, painful principle.
Forged in adversity.
So what do we truly learn about Harry's character and the nature of true courage when he chooses to endure such profound personal pain rather than succumb to injustice or betray his own truth?
His integrity is remarkable.
If Harry's endurance inspires you, please show your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing this episode.
The Seeds of Rebellion, chapters 14 to 18.
All right, chapter 14, Percy and Padfoot, brings the conflict right into the Weasley family, showing the painful consequences on personal relationships.
Yeah, this one hurts. Percy Weasley's betrayal. It's stark, almost bureaucratic.
Siding unequivocally with the Ministry, condemning his own family. It creates this deep, agonizing rift.
At the same time, you have Sirius trying desperately to communicate with Harry, taking huge risks.
Trying to maintain their fragile bond despite the danger, his own isolation, adds another layer of emotional complexity and urgency.
BookPodCastZone's narration balances that urgency with moments of warmth really well here.
And Harry's left grappling with these deeply divided loyalties to his friends, the Order, but also these fractured family bonds and the pain they cause.
This chapter is a profound exploration of betrayal, the complex nuances of loyalty when principles clash, and the inherent risk in any resistance movement.
Rowling brilliantly explores how political conflicts, ideological divides, the pressure of institutional conformity can create agonizingly fractured bonds.
Not just within movements, but most painfully within families, once close relationships. Percy's ambition, his desire for career advancement, societal acceptance.
It overrides his family ties, even moral conviction. It's a powerful, uncomfortable, deeply realistic depiction of human weakness in the face of perceived opportunity.
And Percy's ambition, aligning himself with the seemingly more powerful institution, even when it contradicts his family's core values and the obvious truth. It strongly mirrors historical careerists who aligned with oppressive regimes.
Like bureaucrats, officials, even intellectuals in totalitarian states, choosing personal advancement, power, security by adhering strictly to the regime's ideology.
Even if it meant denouncing or betraying former colleagues, friends, or family holding dissenting views. Prioritizing institutional loyalty and self-preservation over personal conscience and familial bonds.
Often with tragic, lasting consequences.
And in U.S. history, we've certainly seen instances where individuals chose career advancement or institutional alignment over family ties or deep personal convictions, especially in politically charged environments.
Yeah, figures in government or corporations adhering rigidly to protocol or party lines, even when it contradicted personal values or led to harmful policies.
Or think about the complex, often painful dynamics within families during highly polarized political landscapes, the Civil War, McCarthy era, more recently where political differences strain or even sever relationships.
This chapter powerfully highlights those difficult, agonizing choices people sometimes have to make when duty or ambition clashes fundamentally with deeper moral convictions or family loyalty, a tragic cost of conflict.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's poignant shift from Percy's cold, self-righteous tone to Sirius's warmth in his brief communications is incredibly striking.
Really feels the emotional weight of those contrasting relationships.
Yeah.
One breaking apart devastatingly, the other trying desperately to hold on.
Rowling continually deepens the emotional complexity of Harry's world. Shows the war isn't just grand battles, it's about painful compromises, difficult choices, the profound personal toll.
Grounds the epic conflict in very human struggle.
So how does this chapter so powerfully highlight those painful choices people sometimes have to make when loyalty to family or career clashes fundamentally with deeper moral convictions and the pursuit of truth?
It's a conflict many face. If you're reflecting on this, we encourage you to like, subscribe, and share. Chapter 15, The Hogwarts High Inquisitor, sees Umbridge's power escalate dramatically. She takes a terrifying hold over the school.
Yeah, this is a major power grab. Appointed High Inquisitor giving her unprecedented, almost dictatorial authority.
Over everything at Hogwarts curriculum, student clubs, even what thoughts students are allowed to have.
BookPodCastZone's narration underscores her menacing bureaucratic authority with chilling precision. You feel her tightening, suffocating grip on the school.
But this overt overreach has an unexpected effect, doesn't it? Instead of crushing dissent.
It fuels it. Students begin to actively resist her control, pushing back against her increasingly oppressive decrees with quiet but determined defiance.
This chapter is a terrifying depiction of power grabs, institutional oppression, a stifling of freedom. but it also sparks that nascent resistance.
A quiet but rapidly growing rebellion. Rowling escalates the stakes significantly here. You see that when authority becomes tyrannical, tries to control every thought and action.
It often inadvertently breeds the very defiance it seeks to extinguish.
The students, under Harry's emerging leadership, are starting to find their collective voice, their collective power, demonstrating that freedom, once threatened, will always fight back.
And Umbridge's decrees regulating every aspect of student life and thought.
It's a direct, chilling echo of censorship laws, restrictions on academic freedom in totalitarian states.
Controlling what people read, learn, think. Book bans, restrictions on curriculum, state-controlled education, all tools to ensure ideological conformity, prevent dissent.
But as history shows, trying to suppress ideas often only makes them more attractive, more potent, more likely to spark powerful underground movements.
And in the U.S., we've had strong efforts to control public discourse or academic freedom. Debates over un-American activities during the Cold War.
Where certain ideas, affiliations, books were deemed subversive and suppressed, impacting careers and lives in academia and beyond.
Or ongoing controversies over curriculum, control what history is taught, what literature is allowed, how issues are presented.
These debates often center on that mechanism of subtle control. Seemingly innocuous policies or language used to shape thought, limit independent thinking, enforce a particular worldview, governmental overreach into personal freedoms, educational autonomy, eerily similar to Umbridge.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's authoritative tone for Umbridge's decrees is truly chilling. You hear the weight of her power, the finality, makes her rules feel heavy, suffocating.
Makes you yearn for the students to fight back.
Totally.
Rowling masterfully builds this profound, suffocating sense of oppression. It's not just Umbridge being mean, it's systemic suppression of freedom, thought, education itself.
And by showing the students growing, quiet defiance, she brilliantly illustrates that inherent human need for autonomy, truth, the right to learn and think freely.
So when do small acts of resistance begin to coalesce, gain momentum, and ultimately form into a larger, unstoppable movement against oppression?
It often starts small. If you appreciate this look at resistance, please like, subscribe, and share our deep dive. Chapter 16, In the Hog's Head, marks a truly pivotal, inspiring moment. Harry and his friends are absolutely fed up.
Fed up with Umbridge, the Ministry's denial, the lack of proper defense instruction, they decide to take action.
They form Dumbledore's army. In this seedy, clandestine pub, a secret society dedicated to teaching practical, life-saving defensive magic.
BookPodCastZone's secretive narration captures that thrilling spark of rebellion perfectly. Makes you feel like you're part of the conspiracy huddled in the corner.
This is a crucial turning point. Passive frustration transforms unequivocally into active, organized defiance.
This chapter is pure rebellion, showcasing the organic emergence of leadership and the undeniable power of grassroots unity.
Rowling brilliantly showcases grassroots resistance, how ordinary individuals, faced with injustice, denied essential instruction, take matters into their own hands.
Empowering themselves and each other, Harry steps decisively into a leadership role here, not through appointment, but through sheer necessity, his courage, the trust of his peers.
It's a powerful lesson in collective agency.
And this clandestine meeting in a hidden pub, secretly organizing to learn self-defense, resist authority, it strongly recalls secret resistance gatherings throughout history.
Like anti-Nazi cells meeting in occupied territories during WWII.
Exactly. French resistance fighters, underground Jewish groups, courageous student groups like the White Rose in Germany, often gathered in innocuous hidden locations.
To plan defiance, share information, even train themselves. The very act of meeting in secret, facing immense risk.
Demonstrated their unwavering commitment, the danger they faced, building deep solidarity.
And in U.S. history, so many examples of secret meetings, clandestine organizations forming the bedrock of larger social movements.
Abolitionist groups planning escapes, disseminating literature under threat of severe punishment.
Early labor organizers meeting covertly, fearing being fired or worse, forming unions in defiance of powerful industrialists.
Even civil rights activists planning strategies in hidden church basements or private homes to evade authorities or hostile groups.
These weren't public rallies. They were risky, determined gatherings that built profound trust, fostered unbreakable solidarity, and ultimately laid the groundwork for monumental change.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's hushed tones during this secret meeting are fantastic. Makes you feel like you're right there, an eavesdropper.
Sharing in the quiet excitement, the danger. The atmosphere of conspiracy and burgeoning hope is palpable.
Rowling doesn't just describe a meeting. She crafts an incredibly inspiring moment of defiance. It resonates deeply because it shows the power of collective action, the human desire for freedom.
And the courage it takes for young people to stand up to an oppressive system, especially when their education and future are at stake.
So what makes a secret meeting like this so incredibly powerful for those involved, and how does that shared risk and purpose inherently strengthen their resolve and build lasting bonds?
It's about shared commitment. If this moment inspires you, help us grow by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Chapter 17 brings us Educational Decree number 24, another chilling escalation from Umbridge.
More oppressive rule. She issues these new draconian decrees specifically outlawing all student groups not officially sanctioned by the ministry.
Aiming to definitively crush Dumbledore's army. BookPodCastZone's narration heightens the tension dramatically as these stifling restrictions are announced. You feel the control tightening.
But instead of quashing dissent, these overt attempts to legislate thought and association just fuel the students' anger and determination even more.
Harry's resolve strengthens. He becomes even more determined to continue Dumbledore's army in absolute secrecy. Shows the futility of tyranny against principled resistance.
This chapter starkly highlights the escalating oppression from Umbridge, the unwavering defiance of the students, and the continued critical need for secrecy for the DA to survive.
Rowling powerfully demonstrates the power of resistance in the face of overt, systematic control. The more you try to suppress an idea, a movement,
The more it pushes back, often becoming stronger, more unified, more committed. It's like the Streisand effect on a larger scale. Attempts to hide or censor only draw more attention and support.
and these educational decrees controlling what students learn, discuss, organize around.
Directly mirror censorship tactics, restrictions on academic freedom in authoritarian regimes throughout history, book bans, prohibitions on political discussions, restrictions on independent thought.
All tools to control information flow, prevent critical thinking, ensure adherence to the state's narrative.
But attempting to suppress ideas and free assembly often backfires, making those ideas more attractive, sparking underground movements, strengthening resolve.
And in the U.S., we've had debates around educational decrees or policies trying to control what students learn or organize around.
Controversies over curriculum changes, some argue, are biased or restrictive.
Debates about student speech rights on campus, book challenges in school libraries where certain texts are deemed dangerous.
These discussions are all about attempts to restrict freedom of association and thought in education. Highlights the continuous tension between authority and individual liberties, very much like Umbridge's sweeping actions.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's escalating tone here perfectly mirrors the students' growing anger, indignation, fierce determination to resist.
You hear the collective frustration building, fueling their commitment to fight back.
Rowling expertly builds suspense through this escalating conflict. Each new decree doesn't just restrict, it raises the stakes dramatically.
Forces Harry and his allies to become even more resourceful, more determined, more committed. Brilliant portrayal of how oppression inadvertently strengthens the will to resist.
So, how often in history and life do attempts to suppress an idea or movement actually end up making it paradoxically stronger and more resilient?
It seems to happen quite often.
If you find these themes compelling, please do like, subscribe, and share our conversation. Chapter 18 brings us to the active, inspiring phase of Dumbledore's army. Harry steps fully, confidently into his role.
Leading the students in these secret training sessions, teaching them practical, life-saving defensive magic Umbridge forbids.
BookPodCastZone's narration really captures the group's palpable determination, their burgeoning skills, the infectious energy during these clandestine sessions.
This chapter is a crucial turning point, powerfully highlighting Harry's profound growth as a leader not just in magic, but in inspiring and empowering others.
And showcasing the formidable collective strength they are building together.
This is a powerful demonstration of leadership through action, the crucial concept of empowerment among the disempowered and concrete acts of resistance against oppressive authority.
Rowling masterfully showcases collective strength. Students denied proper instruction, facing threats, taking agency, empowering themselves and each other.
Harry's development as a leader isn't just about his magical prowess, it's his ability to inspire trust, organize meetings, effectively teach, fostering agency and confidence in others who felt helpless.
And Dumbledore's army, this youth-led group secretly organizing to resist authority, learn essential skills denied them. It strikingly resembles youth resistance movements throughout history.
Like the White Rose in Nazi Germany students and a professor distributing anti-Nazi leaflets, acting on conscience and bravery.
Or various underground self-defense groups formed in communities facing threats. These movements show the immense power of young people organizing, empowering themselves to fight for what's right.
Often at great personal risk when established systems fail them.
And we have many powerful examples of youth-led movements in U.S. history organizing to enact profound social or political change.
Student activism during the civil rights movement, sit-ins, freedom rides, voter registration drives, often facing immense danger.
Anti-war protests during Vietnam, largely driven by college students who galvanized public opinion.
More recently, youth advocacy for environmental issues or gun control, showing the incredible power of young people organizing, educating themselves, demanding change when adults seem unable or unwilling.
It's that raw energy, idealism, unwavering determination that makes such movements so impactful.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's energetic delivery of these training scenes is incredibly infectious. You feel the students' excitement, their growing confidence, their collective determination.
It makes you want to join them in defying Umbridge.
Rowling creates an uplifting, profoundly inspiring moment of unity here, a powerful counter-narrative to Umbridge's oppressive control.
Shows that even in dark times, courage, shared purpose, collective action can flourish, and that true education empowers individuals to protect themselves and fight for freedom.
So what specific qualities make Harry a truly effective, inspiring leader in this pivotal moment? And how does he manage to empower others to discover and utilize their own latent strengths?
He really steps up. If you're inspired by the DA, show your support and like, subscribe, and share.
Expanding Worlds and Deepening Fears, chapters 19-23.
Okay, Chapter 19, The Lion and the Serpent, takes us to a Quidditch match. Seems like a lighthearted break, but it's far from simple, isn't it?
Not at all. The intense rivalries on the pitch, especially Gryffindor versus Slytherin, they're brilliantly crafted to mirror the deeper divisions tearing Hogwarts apart.
Reflecting the larger societal conflict, BookPodCastZone's narration brings the match's intensity right to life. You feel every dive, dodge, score.
And through it all, Harry's still facing immense personal and social conflicts, even on the Quidditch field. It vividly shows how the larger war, its underlying prejudices, are bleeding into every aspect of life at Hogwarts.
This chapter is a brilliant example of Rowling using a seemingly traditional context to explore deeper themes: rivalry, loyalty, entrenched division.
The house rivalries, especially Gryffindor versus Slytherin, become this powerful microcosm of the larger ideological moral conflict between good and evil.
Rowling cleverly ties these personal conflicts to larger themes, showing how ingrained prejudices, historical grievances, allegiances play out intensely even in a game.
Reflecting broader societal schisms, the enduring power of group identity.
And those intense house rivalries. They're like deep-seated class or ideological divides in real-world history.
Think of the bitter rivalries between industrial magnates and labor unions in the early 20th century U.S., leading to violent clashes, a sense of class warfare.
Or intense political polarization today, where allegiance to your tribe can supersede reason.
It's more than disagreement. It becomes a fundamental identity marker. Loyalty to the group can override objective reality. Competition becomes a symbolic stand-in for deeper conflicts.
You see it all the time in the U.S. with sports rivalries, right? College football, like Michigan versus Ohio State, where the rivalry runs generations deep.
Or city-based pro teams like Yankees versus Red Sox. They aren't just games.
No, they become intense microcosms of broader social or regional divides, highlighting how identity, pride, loyalty manifest incredibly intensely in competition, transcending the sport.
Fans live and breathe it. Shows how easily even seemingly trivial competitions tap into deeper collective identities, historical tensions, us versus them.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's play-by-play of Quidditch is absolutely exhilarating, captures all the excitement.
Feel the speed, the tension, the crowd, the skill. Immersive experience.
Rowling demonstrates her genius by seamlessly weaving sports drama into the story's overarching tension and themes.
Not just a break, it's a brilliant extension, showing the conflict permeates even beloved traditions.
So how do we observe larger societal tensions often mirrored in smaller, seemingly innocuous competitions or social groups, and what does that tell us about human nature?
It's fascinating how tribal we can be.
If you enjoy seeing these connections, remember to like, subscribe, and share our analysis. Chapter 20 brings back Hagrid. He returns with Hagrid's tale, recounting his dangerous, mysterious mission to seek out allies.
It's great to have him back, but his story is harrowing.
Yeah, BookPodCastZone's gruff yet endearing Narration makes his story gripping, pulls you into his adventures, the perils, his profound loneliness during his travels.
Through Hagrid's experiences, Harry starts to learn the truly global stakes of the Brewing War, realizing it extends far beyond Hogwarts, beyond magical Britain.
This chapter profoundly emphasizes sacrifice for a greater good, a kind of dangerous diplomacy under duress, and the increasing sense of pervasive danger on a global scale.
Rowling masterfully expands the wizarding world, showing the challenges aren't just human wizards, they involve other magical beings like giants, larger, complex international maneuvering.
Adds a whole new, often darker dimension to the conflict. Shows the fight against Voldemort requires alliances, understanding across species and borders.
And Hagrid's perilous mission seeking allies among the distant, reclusive, sometimes hostile giants. It strongly recalls wartime diplomatic efforts.
Like allied negotiations during WWII with resistance groups or smaller nations whose support was crucial.
Envoys traveling to hostile or remote territories, facing immense personal risks to secure alliances, gather intelligence, rally support against a common enemy.
Highlights that unseen but crucial work of building coalitions, even with unconventional partners, in times of global conflict.
And in U.S. history, we have historical diplomatic missions where envoys traveled to distant or hostile territories, facing incredible personal risks.
Like early American diplomats, Benjamin Franklin seeking aid from France during the Revolutionary War, facing a long, dangerous journey.
Or Cold War covert operations abroad, risky negotiations with unconventional partners, sometimes with little official backing.
Not always formal treaties, sometimes highly dangerous personal endeavors to forge bonds, gather information vital to survival, mirroring Hagrid's unique personal diplomatic challenge.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's rugged, warm tone is absolutely perfect for Hagrid's epic tale. You hear the weariness, the determination, the underlying sadness.
Makes his story of giant encounters and dangerous travels feel incredibly authentic, emotionally resonant.
Rowling doesn't just tell us about the mission, she broadens the scope with vivid world-building character insight, shows the wizarding world is vast, complex, filled with diverse creatures.
And the war will touch every corner. Makes the stakes feel even higher, potential alliances more varied and unexpected.
So what does Hagrid's deeply personal sacrifice and unconventional diplomacy tell us about the different, often overlooked, kinds of contributions people make to a larger cause beyond direct combat?
It broadens the definition of bravery. If you appreciate Hagrid's journey, please like, subscribe, and share. Chapter 21, The Eye of the Snake, brings a chilling, deeply unsettling development for Harry. His visions intensify dramatically.
Yeah, often showing glimpses from Voldemort's perspective, ominously hinting at that growing, disturbing connection between their minds.
BookPodCastZone's eerie narration pulls listeners deep into Harry's fear, his confusion, the growing dread this link implies.
This chapter significantly raises the stakes, makes the conflict not just external, physical, but deeply, terrifyingly internal for Harry.
Linking him directly, unwillingly, to the Dark Lord in this profoundly intimate, frightening way.
This chapter truly delves into the overwhelming, suffocating fear Harry experiences, the terrifyingly mysterious connection, the deepening mystery surrounding his prophetic, often violent visions.
Rowling further burdens Harry with these disturbing insights, transforming him into an unwitting conduit for dark information.
A significant, terrifying development. He's not just fighting an enemy, he's intimately psychologically linked to him, blurring the lines between self and foe, a constant violation of his mental space.
And Harry's visions, these unwelcome, intrusive glimpses into an unfolding dark future.
They evoke those prophetic fears, ominous omens that have shaped historical conflicts, like ancient oracles guiding military or political decisions.
From the Oracle of Delphi, influencing Greek city-states, to divination influencing warfare. The idea that a predestined, often terrifying fate is being revealed, even shrouded in mystery, has always gripped human imagination.
Influence choices, for better or worse. It's that pervasive sense of foreboding, of an unseen threat revealing itself at any moment that grips a population and influences decisions.
And in U.S. history, we can think about periods with a pervasive sense of foreboding, anxiety about unknown threats, even without magic.
The anxieties around the atomic bomb during the Cold War, for instance. A profound collective fear that catastrophe could strike at any moment from unseen sources.
Or during periods of intense civil unrest or political upheaval. A collective sense of unease, anticipation of conflict permeating daily life, making the future feel deeply uncertain.
These aren't prophecies, but they highlight the psychological impact of pervasive, unseen threats, where impending doom feels like a constant, unsettling part of the mental landscape.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's haunting tone during Harry's visions is incredibly chilling and effective, captures the unsettling, invasive nature.
Makes you viscerally feel Harry's fear, his vulnerability, the immense weight of the unknown, as his own mind becomes a battleground.
Rowling masterfully builds suspense not just through external threats, but through Harry's escalating inner turmoil, psychological burden.
By making Harry himself part of the mystery, linking his consciousness to Voldemort's, she ensures the conflict isn't just external but deeply personal, psychologically invasive, heightens the emotional stakes exponentially.
So how does this increasing invasive internal conflict for Harry, this unwanted connection, makes the external threats feel even more personal, urgent, and inescapable for him?
It raises the personal stakes immensely.
If you're exploring these connections with us, please support the channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Chapter 22 takes us somewhere completely different. St. Mungo's Hospital for Magical Maladies and Injuries. A poignant, stark departure from Hogwarts.
Yeah, visiting the hospital. It immediately becomes this deeply poignant setting where Harry confronts themes of loyalty, immense loss, the stark reality of war's casualties.
BookPodCastZone's emotional narration hits hard here. Scenes that are truly heart-wrenching, unforgettable in their raw honesty.
This chapter beautifully blends the glimmer of hope found in care with the crushing weight of heartbreak, shows the incredible resilience of the human spirit even facing immense suffering and sacrifice.
This chapter is a tender yet unflinching exploration of unwavering loyalty, binding people in crisis, the immense sacrifice made by those on the front lines, and the difficult, often slow, painful process of healing, both physical and emotional.
Rowling uses this poignant, intimate setting to profoundly explore emotional resilience, showing how individuals grapple with suffering, their own and others, and somehow find remarkable strength in caring for each other amidst despair.
A powerful reminder that even amidst a grand magical war, the most potent forces are often quiet, human elements. Care, compassion, communal support.
And St. Mungo's, with its blend of medical care, quiet heroism, the ever-present reality of tragedy, it directly recalls the vital role of field hospitals or civilian hospitals during major historical conflicts.
Like WWII hospitals.
Exactly. Places where immense suffering and incredible care coexisted, medical staff working tirelessly under immense pressure to mend bodies and spirits broken by conflict.
Places of immense pain and profound acts of human compassion, highlighting the quiet, unsung heroes working on the front lines of healing, often forgotten in grand battle narratives.
And we see this crucial role of hospitals and medical care during national crises throughout U.S. history, the expansion of military hospitals during the Civil War or World Wars, straining resources but providing vital care.
Or the challenges faced by healthcare workers during public health emergencies like pandemics, working exhaustingly while facing personal risk.
These are places where immense suffering and incredible care coexist, where individuals demonstrate remarkable resilience both as patients enduring pain and caregivers offering tireless compassion, reflecting that deep loyalty to life and the human spirit.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's tender delivery of hospital scenes truly tugs at your heartstrings. You feel the quiet solemnity, the vulnerability, the profound acts of compassion.
Makes these moments incredibly impactful, emotionally resonant, pulls you deep into the characters' pain and their resilience.
Rowling masterfully crafts a truly poignant blend of hope and loss here, a necessary pause in the relentless action.
Allows us to reflect on the very real, devastating human consequences of the conflict, deepening our empathy, grounding the fantastical and universal human experience.
So what does it mean to find hope and resilience in places fundamentally marked by immense suffering and loss?
It speaks volumes about the human spirit.
If this chapter moved you, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing our deep dive. Chapter 23, Christmas on the Close Ward, continues our journey through the hospital. The holidays, usually a time of joy.
Bring this bittersweet mix of heartbreak, loneliness, and a flicker of hope for Harry and his friends.
BookPodCastZone's narration captures this nuanced, complex mood perfectly, balancing the traditional warmth and expectation of the season with the underlying sorrow and anxiety of the war.
Through it all, themes of family, both blood and chosen and unwavering loyalty shine through, providing crucial comfort and connection in difficult times.
This chapter beautifully delves into the enduring power of family, the constant, heavy presence of loss, and the stubborn, resilient flicker of hope that refuses to be extinguished.
Rowling masterfully balances joy and sorrow, showing that even during the holidays, the weight of conflict and personal tragedy is never truly absent.
Emphasizes that connection to loved ones, community becomes even more vital, cherished, meaningful during periods of profound hardship, offering a lifeline amidst despair.
And this wartime Christmas setting, observed in a hospital ward, it directly evokes the struggles of families during WWII holidays.
Right. For countless Americans on the home front, traditional celebrations were imbued with both longing for normalcy and profound anxieties about loved ones overseas, rationing the uncertain future.
Families made sacrifices, adapted traditions, but also found immense strength and solidarity in community, shared purpose, highlighted the critical importance of family and community in tough times.
Where acts of kindness, small comforts, steadfast connection became even more meaningful.
It makes you think about how holidays were experienced by American families during war or severe hardship, like WWII or the Great Depression.
Traditional celebrations took on a different meaning. Scaled back, sometimes somber, yet filled with both longing for normalcy and anxieties about the future.
Yet these moments often highlighted the incredible importance of family and community, bringing people closer in shared experience, strengthening bonds against adversity.
A powerful reminder of how resilient the human spirit is, finding moments of light, connection, bittersweet joy, even when darkness surrounds it.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's warm yet sad tone is absolutely perfect. Nails the bittersweet holiday vibe with exquisite emotional precision.
Feel the tender moments of connection, shared grief, but also the underlying melancholy, the heavy reality that can't be escaped, even at Christmas.
Rowling delivers a deeply emotional, incredibly resonant chapter here, juxtaposing holiday warmth with the stark realities of war, loss, confinement.
Creates a powerful emotional resonance that stays with you. Underscores the universal human experience of navigating moments of joy amidst profound sorrow.
So how do these intimate, bittersweet moments of joy and human connection during immense hardship so powerfully remind us of what truly profoundly matters in life?
It's often the simple things. If you're reflecting on these themes, please like, subscribe, and share.
Truth, Betrayal, and the Human Heart, chapters 24 to 29.
Okay, chapter 24 plunges us into the difficult, often frustrating world of occlumency.
Harry begins intense training to block his mind from Voldemort's invasive intrusions, his malicious influence.
But this crucial mental defense means enduring difficult, painful, emotionally charged clashes with Professor Snape.
BookPodCastZone's tense narration highlights the deep, almost unbearable distrust and animosity between them. Every interaction is a battle of wills.
This chapter really deepens Harry's struggle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Makes it an internal, psychological battle as much as an external one.
Absolutely. This training focuses intensely on trust, or the severe lack thereof between them, as well as the immense demand for mental strength and Harry's profound vulnerability. He's literally exposing his mind to his hated professor.
Rowling explores Harry's inner battles through this difficult, confrontational relationship, showing that controlling your thoughts, emotions, memories, especially under attack, is a crucial form of self-defense.
Not just in magic, but in navigating psychological warfare, building inner resilience.
And occlumency, this magical art of mind defense.
It directly mirrors specialized espionage training, particularly the psychological aspects of Cold War spy tactics.
Agencies training operatives to resist interrogation, protect secrets under duress, maintain mental fortitude under extreme pressure and manipulation.
Building an impenetrable mental fortress against intrusion, a battle of wills, intense mental discipline against an adversary seeking to exploit your thoughts, memories, weaknesses. A battle for cognitive autonomy.
And in U.S. history, we have accounts of psychological training or mind games in intelligence or military contexts, often shrouded in secrecy.
Counterintelligence training to spot and resist enemy agents. Methods to endure and resist interrogation in POW situations, focusing on mental endurance.
Broader discussions about the psychological resilience required of soldiers in high-stakes situations where their minds are as much a weapon or vulnerability as their physical capabilities.
These examples, like occlumency, powerfully illustrate mental defense against intrusion, the immense pressure of keeping thoughts private when under threat.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's sharp, biting delivery of Snape's lessons is truly gripping. You hear the cutting sarcasm, the veiled contempt, the underlying tension.
Makes their volatile dynamic incredibly engaging and profoundly uncomfortable.
Rowling builds tension not just through external threats, but through Harry's immense mental and emotional strain.
brilliantly shows the battle against Voldemort isn't just fought with spells, but intensely within the minds and psyches of the characters. Makes it deeply personal, psychologically intense. A fight for self-possession.
So, beyond the magic, what profound lessons does Harry's occlumency training offer us about protecting our own minds from negative influences or overwhelming thoughts in our own lives?
It's about mental discipline, isn't it?
Definitely food for thought. If you agree, please like, subscribe, and share. Chapter 25, The Beetle at Bay, vividly shows us the disturbing power of the media, particularly the wizarding press and the malicious Rita Skeeter.
Yeah, they actively manipulate truth, twisting facts, fabricating lies, relentlessly trying to discredit Harry and Dumbledore, bolster the Ministry's false narrative.
But Harry doesn't just sit back. He fights back, working to expose the truth through alternative channels, like the Quibbler.
BookPodCastZone's narration captures the urgency, the frustration, the high stakes of this battle for public perception.
This chapter powerfully highlights the immense vital power of truth and how crucial it is to fight for it against a tide of calculated misinformation and propaganda.
This chapter delves deeply into the nature of truth, the insidious manipulative role of media in shaping opinion, and the continuing vital spirit of resistance against falsehoods.
Rowling delivers a powerful, timeless critique of propaganda, showing how information can be deliberately twisted, weaponized, disseminated to control public opinion, undermine credibility, demonize opponents, maintain an official narrative.
Even when that narrative is a blatant, dangerous lie, it's a battle for the narrative itself, where facts are fluid, easily distorted for political gain.
And the media's role here, actively disseminating misinformation, acting as a tool of the state.
Strongly echoes wartime propaganda battles throughout history. WWII, both sides use newspapers, radio, film, not just to report, but to shape opinion, demonize enemies, rally support, suppress dissent.
Or during the McCarthy era, certain media outlets were often complicit in amplifying fear-mongering narratives, blacklisting.
A constant battle for public perception, hearts and minds, where dissenting voices often struggled immensely to be heard against the official or dominant narrative, much like Harry's desperate fight against the Ministry's smear campaign.
And in U.S. history, countless periods where media, newspapers, radio, TV was heavily used for propaganda or to influence opinion during wartime or major social movements.
Sensationalized yellow journalism in the late 19th century, inflaming public sentiment, pushing for war.
Radio and TV expertly used by the government during WWII to promote patriotism, unity, encourage support through carefully crafted messages.
Conversely, courageous individuals or dissenting voices, muckraking journalists, independent newspapers trying desperately to counter powerful, often biased narratives, fighting for factual reporting against sensationalism or state-sponsored messaging.
A timeless, ongoing battle for public perception, the very definition of reality.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's dynamic, determined tone during Harry's fight for truth is incredibly inspiring. You feel his frustration, yes, but also his unwavering determination, courage to speak out.
Makes you root for him every step as he takes on the powerful media establishment.
Rowling crafts a powerful, resonant commentary on the media's profound responsibility and its dangerous potential for manipulation. A remarkably timely message about critical thinking, media literacy, diligently seeking unbiased sources.
So true. In our current age of overwhelming information and rampant misinformation, how do we effectively discern truth from deliberate manipulation? And what is our individual and collective responsibility in sharing accurate, verified information?
A crucial question for our times.
If you're thinking about this too, support our discussion by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Chapter 26, Seen and Unforeseen, brings another deeply unsettling escalation for Harry. His visions are growing stronger, more frequent, more vivid.
Ominously hinting at a significant, life-altering prophecy directly linking his destiny to Voldemort's.
BookPodCastZone's eerie narration pulls listeners deeper into the mystery, the profound sense of dread, Harry's growing confusion about these unwanted glimpses into Voldemort's mind.
The stakes are rising dramatically. These persistent visions suggest a predetermined, inescapable path for Harry, tying his personal fate inextricably, terrifyingly, to the Dark Lord's.
This chapter is all about the crushing weight of destiny, the unfolding enigmatic mystery of the prophecy, and the increasing pervasive grip of fear from knowing a terrible future might be preordained.
These visions, rather than providing clarity, actually add immense anxiety, psychological burden. building inexorably towards the story's inevitable violent climax.
Rowling builds incredible suspense by making Harry's mind this raw, open window into a terrifying, uncertain future, burdening him with insights he doesn't fully understand but knows are crucial and dangerous.
And these visions, these vague but powerful premonitions, they connect deeply to the historical role of prophecies, omens, ancient oracles believed to guide or determine conflicts in leadership.
From the Oracle of Delphi influencing Greek city-states to various forms of augury influencing leadership, the idea of a predestined fate being revealed, even shrouded in mystery, has always gripped human imagination.
Influenced choices, for better or worse. It's that pervasive sense of foreboding, of an unseen threat revealing itself, that grips a population and influences decisions.
And in U.S. history, we can think about periods with a pervasive sense of foreboding, almost millenarian anxiety, about unknown future threats, even without literal magic.
Anxieties around the atomic bomb during the Cold War. A profound collective fear that catastrophe could strike any moment from unseen sources.
Or moments of intense civil unrest or political upheaval, a collective sense of unease, anticipation of profound societal conflict permeating daily life, making the future feel deeply uncertain, unavoidable.
These aren't magic, but they highlight the intense psychological impact of pervasive, unseen threats, where impending doom or a predestined crisis feels like a constant, unsettling part in the daily mental landscape.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's ominous tone during these visions is incredibly effective. Keeps you hooked, on edge, almost dreading what Harry will see next.
You feel the immense weight of these disturbing insights. The growing sense of foreboding Harry experiences makes his internal torment palpable.
Rowling masterfully escalates the tension by tying Harry's internal struggles directly to the larger plot and its ultimate conclusion.
These visions aren't just scary. They are crucial breadcrumbs, inevitable signposts leading directly to the ultimate confrontation and the devastating revelation of his true purpose.
So how do seemingly vague premonitions or unsettling glimpses of the future often create far more intense anxiety and dread than clear, concrete information might? What does that tell us about the human psyche?
The unknown is often more terrifying.
If these questions intrigue you, let us know your thoughts, and please like, subscribe, and share. Chapter 27, The Centaur and the Sneak, delivers an absolutely shocking, devastating blow. Ripples of distrust through Dumbledore's army.
Betrayal threatens the DA from within its own ranks. BookPodCastZone's narration captures the immediate shock, the profound devastation. A trusted member turns informant.
Harry faces new, agonizing challenges. The rebellion he helped build, the symbol of hope, starts to falter under the weight of this internal treachery,
Forcing him to confront the painful, crushing reality that trust can be broken from within with devastating consequences.
This chapter profoundly delves into the devastating impact of betrayal, especially from an insider, its immediate consequences for a movement built on trust, and the crucial heartbreaking need for resilience in the face of such a setback.
Rowling exposes the cost of trust in a way that is incredibly painful, terrifyingly realistic, showing internal threats. Treachery can sometimes be far more damaging, corrosive than overt external attacks, shattering the very foundation of solidarity.
Breeding paranoia, making you reevaluate everyone.
And this betrayal within a resistance movement, an insider becoming an informant, it mirrors historical instances. During the McCarthy era in the U.S., informants were used extensively to identify alleged communists.
Leading to blacklisting, public suspicion, eroding trust within communities, making people afraid to speak freely.
Individuals collaborating with authorities against social justice movements or labor unions often caused immense, irreparable damage by sharing sensitive information, leading to arrests, disruptions, collapse of efforts.
The devastating impact of internal betrayal, shattering trust, creating pervasive paranoia. A dark but powerful historical parallel Rowling depicts with unflinching honesty.
And in U.S. history, too many painful instances where informants or turncoats undermine movements from within. Labor spies infiltrating unions to report to management, breaking strikes, firing organizers.
Or during periods like the Red Scare, the fear of informants created a suffocating climate of suspicion, forcing people to question everyone, even close allies.
This internal sabotage can be more destructive than overt attacks because it erodes the foundation of solidarity, trust, collective action. A wound incredibly difficult to heal, a gut punch forcing groups to reevaluate security, their inner circle, their bonds.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's gasp-worthy delivery of the betrayal is incredibly intense, emotionally charged. You feel the collective shock, profound disappointment, heartbreak.
Makes it a truly impactful, unforgettable moment of disillusionment.
Rowling crafts a true gut-punch moment of betrayal here, designed not just to surprise, but to make you viscerally feel the profound sense of loss, disillusionment, the deep personal sting when a trusted member turns against the cause.
Deepens the narrative significantly, adds agonizing layers of psychological, moral complexity to the struggle, reminds us evil manifests in many forms, including disloyalty.
So how does betrayal, especially from within, fundamentally challenge our ability to trust and fight for a cause?
It cuts deep.
If you've ever felt a sting of betrayal, maybe this chapter resonates. Let us know and please like, subscribe, and share. Chapter 28, Snape's Worst Memory, offers an absolutely shocking, deeply personal revelation. Fundamentally alters our understanding of a key character.
Yeah, Harry accidentally glimpses Snape's agonizing, humiliating past during an clemency lesson, witnessing a memory that adds immense depth, context, heartbreaking complexity to their bitter conflict.
BookPodCastZone's emotional narration makes the moment raw, vulnerable, profoundly uncomfortable. This chapter fundamentally redefines Snape's character.
Makes us question everything we thought we knew, forces us to grapple with the nuance of human experience.
This scene is a powerful, masterful exploration of empathy, the profound, often unseen impact of past trauma on adult life, and the inherent complexity of human character. Reveals no one is purely good or evil.
Rowling achieves something remarkable here. She humanizes a foe, someone we've largely seen as a cruel, unlikable antagonist, by revealing his vulnerabilities, past suffering, the painful experiences that shaped him.
Challenges our preconceived notions, easy judgments, opens the door for a more nuanced, empathetic understanding of a seemingly villainous character.
In Snape's painful past, the bullying he endured from Harry's father, his subsequent choices, coping mechanisms, it profoundly evokes historical cycles of bullying, interpersonal grievances, perpetuation of conflict within communities.
Where historical grievances fester, unaddressed, continue to perpetuate present tensions, sometimes across generations, cycles of revenge or resentment.
Also speaks to broader discussions around the impacts of early life experiences, childhood bullying, social exclusion, humiliation on adult behavior, personality choices, a topic explored in psychology, sociology.
Powerfully demonstrates how pain, unaddressed, unresolved, can deeply warp a person, influence their entire trajectory.
In this concept of historical grievances or cycles of conflict, it's incredibly relevant in U.S. history. Generational poverty, lack of opportunity in specific regions, lingering effects of racial discrimination, unresolved land disputes.
And continue to perpetuate present tensions, create profound, seemingly intractable divides.
This chapter also makes us profoundly consider the impacts of early life experiences, bullying, on adult behavior. Prompts us to think how personal pain, especially in formative years, can shape someone's trajectory.
Making them react in ways that seem cold, cruel, vengeful, but often stem from a deep, unhealed wound.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's tender, almost fragile tone during the memory is truly heartbreaking. Such a stark contrast to how Snape is usually portrayed.
Makes his vulnerability incredibly poignant, hard to forget, forces us to reevaluate our perceptions.
Rowling delivers a masterclass in character development, a profoundly nuanced, psychologically complex look at Snape. Doesn't excuse his behavior, but provides crucial context.
Forces us to acknowledge the multifaceted, painful nature of even seemingly villainous characters. Layers of pain beneath layers of perceived malice.
So how does understanding someone's deeply painful past, even if it doesn't excuse their present actions, complicate our judgment of them and profoundly open the door for a deeper, more challenging form of empathy?
It complicates things for sure. If you're reevaluating Snape, let us know. Like, subscribe, and share. Chapter 29, Career Advice, brings Harry back to the mundane, yet incredibly stressful reality of his future beyond Hogwarts.
Facing tough, practical choices about his career, what to do after school, amidst the overwhelming chaos of a brewing war, knowing his life is intertwined with Voldemort's.
BookPodCastZone's narration expertly balances the hopeful aspirations of youth with the immense pressure, the grim reality he's under.
This chapter brilliantly grounds the larger epic story in a very relatable, universal human experience, showing even heroes, burdened by destiny, still have to think about what comes next after high school.
How to build a life amidst turmoil.
This chapter insightfully delves into the universal clash between idealistic dreams and harsh reality, and the intense, often overwhelming pressure of making life-defining decisions under immense duress. uncertainty.
Rowling explores coming-of-age struggles within a much larger high-stakes conflict, reminding us that even with a looming war, teenagers still grapple with universal questions about their future, identity, purpose.
How to find a path in an unpredictable world, a powerful moment of humanization, shows Harry as a relatable young man facing everyday anxieties alongside world-saving burdens.
And this intense career pressure, forcing practical considerations alongside personal aspirations. It strongly mirrors experiences of post-war youth navigating uncertain futures.
Generations of young Americans returning from conflicts like WWII or entering adulthood during economic uncertainty like the Great Depression. Traditional career paths disrupted or vanished.
Forcing them to prioritize stability or immediate needs over lofty ambitions or passions. Highlights the universal, timeless pressure of planning a future when the world is fundamentally in flux, deeply uncertain. A choice between survival and dreams.
And in U.S. history, we've seen how generations of young Americans face difficult career choices during economic uncertainty, social change, returning from conflict.
Young people during the Great Depression taking any job, often abandoning dreams. Veterans returning from WWII, leveraging the GI Bill but facing a changed economy. Limited options.
Students graduating during recessions, adjusting expectations, taking unexpected roles, delaying professional lives. This chapter taps into that universal pressure of planning a future in uncertain times.
Where personal ambitions might have to be weighed against harsh realities, pressing responsibilities of a turbulent world.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's reflective, almost weary tone perfectly captures Harry's crossroads. You feel him weighing his options, hopes for a normal future, the immense responsibilities thrust upon him.
Makes his internal dilemma incredibly poignant.
Rowling masterfully weaves Harry's deeply personal growth, his coming-of-age struggles, directly into the larger conflict.
Shows the hero's journey isn't just fighting external enemies with magic, but also navigating human challenges. Identity, purpose, sacrifice, the weight of adult decisions in an uncertain world.
So how do we, in our own lives, manage to balance our personal ambitions and dreams with the often demanding realities and inescapable responsibilities of the world around us, especially during times of great uncertainty?
It's the million-dollar question. If you're facing similar choices, maybe this resonates. Like, subscribe, share.
The Unseen and the Unavoidable, chapters 30-34.
Okay, chapter 30 introduces us to Grop, Hagrid's secret giant half-brother. A surprising, initially quite alarming addition.
Definitely unexpected. This massive presence immediately tests friendships, loyalties within Harry's inner circle, forcing them to confront prejudices, fears.
BookPodCastZone's narration perfectly brings both humor and heartfelt emotion to these challenging scenes, capturing Grop's clumsy innocence, raw strength, Hagrid's unwavering paternal love.
Harry finds himself precariously balancing deep loyalty to Hagrid with the inherent danger, immense responsibility of caring for this giant-sized secret that could jeopardize the Order.
This chapter profoundly focuses on unwavering loyalty to friends, the crucial theme of acceptance for those marginalized or profoundly different, and the inherent risk in caring deeply for others, especially those who don't fit norms.
Rowling adds wonderful warmth, unexpected humor, a different kind of challenge to the mounting tension, reminding us that compassion, empathy, acceptance, even for the most unconventional, potentially dangerous beings,
are just as vital a part of fighting the good fight as courage and magic. It's about seeing inherent value where others only see a threat or inconvenience.
And Grop's outsider status, his struggle for integration, Hagrid's desire to bring him into community, teach him. It directly connects to historical efforts to integrate or gain acceptance for marginalized groups.
Disability rights movements, advocating for accessibility, understanding, challenges faced by immigrant communities seeking acceptance, integration into a new society.
The efforts of allies advocating for their inclusion, bridging cultural divides, demanding recognition often require immense patience, deep understanding, willingness to challenge established norms, ingrained prejudices.
And in U.S. history, many powerful examples of efforts to integrate marginalized groups and the dedicated efforts of allies. Civil rights movement fighting for desegregation, equal rights for African Americans.
Disability rights movement advocating for accessibility, equal opportunities, challenges faced by immigrant communities over generations finding their place, gaining acceptance.
These situations often require immense patience, deep understanding, willingness to see beyond initial appearances, difference, embrace common humanity, just as Hagrid tries to help Grop find his place in a world that fears him.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's gruff yet funny delivery of Grop's scenes is Absolutely delightful, brings unique charm.
Feel Hagrid's immense love, exasperation, Grop's childlike innocence, overwhelming strength, makes these moments genuinely heartwarming, memorable amidst the tension.
Rowling crafts a truly heartfelt, surprisingly poignant subplot here. Not just comic relief, deepens our understanding of Hagrid's compassionate character.
Reinforces that empathy, acceptance are just as important as courage and magic. Broadens the scope of what family means.
So what specific challenges arise when we genuinely try to integrate someone who is truly an outsider, profoundly different, into our existing circle? What does it demand of us, individually and collectively?
Requires patience, for sure. If you appreciate Grop's story, let us know. Like, subscribe, share. Chapter 31 brings us to OWLS, the Ordinary Wizarding Level Exams. Intense, universal exam stress.
A mundane but high-stakes reality for teenagers, colliding head-on with the ongoing, dangerous rebellion against Umbridge and the Ministry.
BookPodCastZone's narration perfectly captures the chaos, frantic energy, underlying anxiety. Incredibly relatable.
Despite immense academic pressure, the ever-present threat of Umbridge's surveillance, Harry's resolve shines through, shows his remarkable ability to navigate multiple high-stakes challenges simultaneously.
This chapter powerfully delves into the universal experience of stress, the critical importance of resilience, showing how the larger epic rebellion can intersect with seemingly mundane yet personally critical aspects of everyday life.
Rowling cleverly grounds the fantastical story in universal school experiences, adolescent anxieties, even amidst grand magical conflict. Reminds us life's regular pressures don't disappear just because the world is in turmoil.
Makes Harry's struggle incredibly relatable. Highlights his very human challenges, beyond just fighting dark wizards.
And the immense pressure of the OWLs, these high-stakes, life-determining exams. It directly evokes high-stakes education systems, like intense post-war academic pressures emphasizing meritocracy, future opportunities.
For American students, exams like SATs, ACTs, APs, college admissions often create immense pressure, the outcome potentially determining future opportunities.
This chapter resonates profoundly because it shows students navigating that pressure alongside other major life events or profound social changes, highlights how academic and real-world stresses often intertwine, demanding extraordinary resilience.
In the U.S. system, the pressure of high-stakes exams is so familiar. It can feel like they determine your entire future, an enormous burden.
And navigating that alongside family struggles, social changes, even a global pandemic requires incredible resilience, mental fortitude.
Harry's experience here, balancing academic demands with the weight of the wizarding world's fate, is universal. Shows even when the magical world is in turmoil, universal stresses of adolescence' academic performance remain a significant challenge.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's frantic, almost breathless tone during exams is absolutely relatable, captures the feeling perfectly.
Feel the tension in the exam hall, frantic writing, desperate thoughts, collective stress, transports you back to your own test anxieties.
Rowling's skill here is undeniable, expertly balances humor and tension, the profound and the mundane, within a school setting.
Reminds us, even amidst grand conflicts, characters are still teenagers with very human, everyday struggles, deepens their relatability, makes their heroism more impressive.
So how do we find the resilience to face personal challenges when the world around us is also in turmoil?
Takes real strength. If you relate to the OWL stress, share your thoughts. Like, subscribe, and share. Chapter 32, Out of the Fire, marks a terrifying turning point. Harry's desperation reaches fever pitch.
Fueled by that deeply disturbing vision involving Sirius, leads him to make a dangerous, impulsive, potentially catastrophic plan.
BookPodCastZone's urgent, almost breathless narration ramps up the stakes. Makes you feel Harry's escalating anxiety, his profound conviction Sirius is in danger, the raw impulsiveness driving him.
This chapter is a rapid, heart-pounding setup for the story's explosive climax, propelling Harry and his friends toward an unavoidable, high-stakes confrontation.
This chapter is driven by Harry's profound desperation, the deep, unwavering roots of loyalty he feels for friends, especially Sirius, and the immense, terrifying risk he takes based on a terrifying, incomplete vision.
Rowling masterfully pushes the story towards raw, impulsive action, showing sometimes even level-headed heroes are driven to impulsive, high-stakes decisions when they believe loved ones are in immediate mortal danger.
Highlights the potent power of conviction, love, even when born of panic, fear, limited information.
And Harry's impulsiveness, his desperate decision to rush into danger based on a vision. It powerfully mirrors rash, high-stakes decisions made in wartime, often born of desperation.
In military or emergency response situations, individuals sometimes make split-second, high-stakes choices under immense pressure. Incomplete information, often with significant unforeseen consequences.
Moments where overwhelming urgency overrides caution, rational assessment. The immediate need to act is prioritized for better or worse, leading to dramatic turning points.
And in U.S. history, we have historical instances where individuals made high-stakes, impulsive decisions out of sheer desperation to save others, often with significant consequences.
A commander making a snap, unconventional decision on the battlefield to rescue trapped soldiers.
A first responder during a massive disaster, choosing a risky, unorthodox path to reach survivors, bypassing protocol for immediate action. Not textbook decisions, often driven by the immediate need to protect life, act on gut feeling under extreme pressure. Highlight split-second choices under duress.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's breathless, almost frantic delivery in this chapter is incredibly effective. Keeps you completely on edge, viscerally feeling Harry's growing panic, urgency, terrifying momentum towards his impulsive plan.
Rowling doesn't just advance the plot. She builds heart-pounding, almost unbearable suspense by tying it directly to Harry's emotional state.
Uses his desperate conviction, profound love for Sirius to drive the narrative, makes his desperate decision feel earned, terrifyingly inevitable, pulls the reader right into the impending chaos, unknown consequences.
So, when do loyalty and desperation override caution? And what are the potential consequences of such choices made under extreme pressure?
It's a dangerous cocktail.
If Harry's desperation grips you, let us know. And please like, subscribe, and share. Chapter 33, Fight and Flight, delivers on that promise of action. Raw courage on display.
Harry and his friends face immediate, overwhelming danger in a daring, desperate escape from Hogwarts, battling Umbridge and her allies.
BookPodCastZone's narration captures the chaos, adrenaline, sheer desperation perfectly. Makes the action incredibly visceral, immediate.
It's a moment where raw courage, quick thinking, unwavering teamwork drive their every move, showcasing their collective bravery under intense fire.
This chapter truly delves into raw, visceral courage, the absolute necessity of teamwork in crisis, and the primal instinct for survival facing life-threatening peril.
Rowling excels at delivering high-stakes action sequences, showcasing how ordinary teenagers, pushed to their limits, united by a common threat, can exhibit extraordinary bravery.
Work together seamlessly, almost instinctively, to overcome overwhelming odds, escape seemingly impossible situations, a testament to their growth and bond.
And this daring escape, evading capture by a determined, powerful enemy, strongly recalls the ingenuity, bravery, collaborative spirit of resistance fighters evading capture during wartime.
Like escape routes used by Allied airmen shot down over occupied Europe in WWII, relying on hidden networks, local civilians to survive, escape.
Or individuals fleeing authoritarian regimes, relying on hidden networks, their wits to survive detection, reach freedom. These historical examples highlight the resourcefulness, quick thinking, crucial collective support needed to survive when pursued by a determined, powerful enemy.
And in U.S. history, historical accounts of daring escapes or acts of evasion during wartime or intense conflict. Prisoners of war making risky, ingenious escapes from enemy camps.
Individuals fleeing hostile territories, like enslaved people on the Underground Railroad, using cunning, bravery to navigate dangerous landscapes.
Spies attempting to evade capture during covert operations. These stories highlight the incredible ingenuity, resilience, sheer bravery required, where every shadow, sound, decision could mean capture or freedom. That same desperate, determined, courageous spirit Harry and his friends embody.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's intense, rapid pacing here makes the action truly visceral, heart-pounding. Feel the wind rushing past, spells flying, explosions, frantic heartbeat of the escape, utterly immersed in chaos, danger.
Rowling crafts a truly thrilling, emotionally charged escape sequence. Not just a plot device. A powerful testament to the character's growing resilience, profound loyalty, developing skills.
Shows their transformation into true fighters.
So how does a shared existential danger often forge incredibly strong, unbreakable bonds and bring out unexpected depths of courage and ingenuity in individuals?
Adversity reveals character, doesn't it?
If this action sequence had you on the edge of your seat, give us a like, subscribe, and share. Chapter 34, The Department of Mysteries, pulls us into this shadowy, utterly enigmatic maze of secrets deep within the Ministry.
BookPodCastZone's eerie, almost suffocating narration draws listeners deep into the unsettling, mysterious atmosphere of this highly classified place. Makes you feel the weight of countless hidden truths.
This chapter is all about unveiling profound, hidden truths and the immense danger inherent in seeking them. Harry and his friends venture blindly into the heart of the Ministry's most closely guarded secrets.
Significantly deepening the story's stakes, transforming their quest into a true odyssey of discovery.
This chapter is steeped in profound mystery, pervasive, unseen danger, and the tantalizing potential for profound, life-altering discovery.
The unknown nature of the department, its labyrinthine corridors, the crucial secrets it holds, only intensifies the palpable tension, dread.
Rowling masterfully deepens the stakes by slowly revealing these hidden truths, the ancient prophecies within, making Harry's quest not just about fighting evil, but uncovering fundamental, terrifying realities of the magical world and his own fated place within it.
A journey into the heart of the unknown where knowledge can be as dangerous as any curse.
And the Department of Mysteries itself, classified government facility, shrouded in secrecy, filled with unknown experiments, research, prophecies.
Directly evokes real-world secret government projects, particularly during the Cold War. Places like Area 51, other classified research labs.
Sites where atomic weapons or biological agents were developed. These facilities fueled immense public fascination, speculation, sometimes fear regarding hidden information, advanced tech, ethically ambiguous experiments.
The allure and terror of the unknown. What governments might conceal. A powerful, persistent theme.
And in U.S. history, that persistent, almost legendary public fascination with secret government projects, classified facilities, often hotbeds for speculation, conspiracy theories.
Area 51, countless theories about hidden alien tech, covert aircraft, Cold War research labs shrouded in secrecy, generating public curiosity, sometimes fear about what was happening behind closed doors.
What secrets were being kept? It's that inherent human desire to uncover hidden knowledge, coupled with the profound dread of what those secrets might contain, that Rowling taps into so effectively. Makes the department feel both alluring and terrifying.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's haunting, almost reverent tone navigating this maze makes the department truly unforgettable, deeply unsettling.
Feel the oppressive weight of the unknown, whispers of ancient prophecies echoing, looming sense of profound discovery and immense danger lurking.
Rowling builds a gripping, mysterious, profoundly symbolic setting here. Not just a location. A symbolic space representing deepest secrets, profound truths, ultimate inescapable destinies that will alter Harry's understanding of his world, his purpose.
The moment where all hidden threads begin to converge.
So what is it about the unknown and the tantalizing promise of hidden truths that both profoundly draws us in with curiosity and simultaneously fills us with such deep dread?
It's a powerful duality. If the mystery pulls you in, remember to like, subscribe, and share.
The Cost of War and the Dawn of Truth, chapters 35 to 38.
Chapter 35, Beyond the Veil. This delivers a truly devastating, gut-wrenching blow that changes everything for Harry.
In the midst of that fierce, chaotic battle in the Department of Mysteries, a profound, tragic loss strikes Harry directly, irrevocably altering his world.
BookPodCastZone's emotional narration hits so hard, makes the moment truly gut-wrenching, almost unbearable in its raw impact.
This chapter fundamentally reshapes Harry's journey, marks an irreversible turning point, forces him to confront the brutal realities of war, the crushing permanence of death, permanently changes the series' trajectory.
This chapter delves into the profound, raw, universal themes of loss, sacrifice, and the agonizing, often overwhelming process of grief.
Rowling delivers a gut-wrenching moment that fundamentally, irrevocably changes the trajectory of the entire series. A pivotal, tragic event, brutally underscoring the immense personal cost of war.
Reminds us that even in a fantastical world, death is real, its impact devastating, its consequences enduring, a loss that will haunt Harry and the narrative.
And this devastating loss occurring unexpectedly during battle directly mirrors the profound, lasting impact of losing loved ones in military conflicts on American families' communities.
The sacrifices of soldiers lost in battle, deeply personal for families, become etched into the national consciousness, shaping collective memory, identity.
Think of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, powerful symbol of collective grief, remembrance for the immense human cost, where the shared sense of loss, unity after 9/11, where individual tragedies became collective sorrow.
These moments highlight how deeply personal losses, tied to a larger national conflict, can forge a shared understanding of the immense collective cost of war.
And in the U.S., we've seen countless times how losing loved ones in military conflicts affects families and communities for generations.
When soldiers are lost, it's not just personal tragedy, it's etched into national consciousness. How we honor those sacrifices, memorials, ceremonies, ongoing support reflects this collective grief, recognition of the price paid.
Highlights how personal losses, tied to larger conflict, forge shared understanding of the immense cost, reshaping national identity around that sacrifice.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's tearful, almost broken delivery of this moment is truly heart-shattering. Feel the raw emotion, profound shock, crushing weight of the loss.
Makes the scene incredibly impactful, unforgettable, deeply painful to experience alongside Harry.
Rowling crafts a pivotal, tragic moment with unflinching honesty, designed to be a profound turning point, not just for Harry's emotional journey, but for the entire narrative.
Forcing him to confront harsh realities, unimaginable sacrifices, the end of his innocence.
So how do we as individuals and society begin to process such unexpected, profound loss, especially amidst a larger ongoing conflict?
There are no easy answers.
If this moment broke your heart too, connect with us, like, subscribe, and share. Chapter 36, The Only One He Ever Feared. This delivers the epic, long-anticipated confrontation.
A truly powerful, earth-shattering showdown between Dumbledore and Voldemort themselves.
BookPodCastZone's narration perfectly captures the sheer intensity, raw power, epic scale of this climactic clash. Every spell, every move feels monumental.
In this moment, Harry, a traumatized witness, truly sees the different profound forms of power. From raw, destructive force to strategic brilliance, the enduring power of love.
And the ultimate sacrifice that strength and unwavering conviction requires, revealing the enduring flame of hope that burns even facing pure evil.
This chapter is a breathtaking display of different, contrasting forms of power. Voldemort's raw, destructive, fear-inducing force versus Dumbledore's subtle, strategic brilliance, profound wisdom, deep love.
Showcases the ultimate sacrifice Dumbledore is willing to make. The enduring nature of hope he embodies even in the darkest hour.
Rowling delivers an epic, defining clash of good versus evil. Not just spellcasting, but a fundamental clash of ideologies, core forces defining the wizarding world. The essence of the series' core conflict brought to a head. A battle of souls.
And this climactic showdown, a direct confrontation between good and absolute evil, powerfully evokes historic defining battles against tyranny.
Major turning points in the Revolutionary War, like Saratoga, shifting the tide towards independence.
Pivotal moments in the Civil War, like Gettysburg, marking a decisive turn against the Confederacy. Not just battles, defining confrontations, symbolizing a fundamental clash between opposing forces, ideologies, futures.
Irrevocably altering the trajectory of future events, the course of nations. The moment where the struggle becomes undeniably clear, stakes are all or nothing.
And in U.S. history, pivotal battles or confrontations, symbolizing a fundamental clash, defining the future. Battle of Yorktown during the Revolution, decisively sealing independence.
Decisive moments in social justice movements like the March on Washington, galvanizing a nation, forcing legislative change. These confrontations aren't just events, they are symbols of a fundamental clash shaping what comes next.
Defining eras, national character. That clear, epic moment where forces for good directly face forces of tyranny, and the outcome determines everything.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's booming, electrifying delivery of the clash is absolutely thrilling, brings the magic to life.
Feel the magical energy crackling, force of spells, sheer overwhelming power of these two titans colliding. Battle for supremacy, the soul of the wizarding world.
Rowling delivers a truly climactic, unforgettable battle. Not just flashy spells, about the profound clash of ideals, demonstration of absolute strength, moral courage, ultimate sacrifice.
A defining moment for the entire series, solidifying the stakes, revealing the true depths of both good and evil.
So what does this ultimate confrontation, where the most powerful forces collide, reveal about the true nature of power? Where does real, enduring strength truly lie in might, or something more profound?
Dumbledore's strength is different. If this battle amazed you, let us know. Like, subscribe, share. Chapter 37, The Lost Prophecy, brings an incredible, life-changing, utterly devastating revelation to Harry.
He finally learns the fundamental, inescapable truth about his connection to Voldemort, the full contents of the prophecy inextricably linking their fates.
BookPodCastZone's narration perfectly balances the profound shock with the crushing sorrow, immense burden it places on him.
This chapter utterly redefines Harry's destiny, clarifying his purpose, but also placing an immense, almost unbearable weight of responsibility on his young shoulders, setting the stage for everything that follows.
This chapter delves deep into destiny, the immense, often crushing weight of truth, and the profound, almost spiritual burden placed upon Harry.
Rowling delivers a true game-changing moment. A narrative pivot point, irrevocably setting up the series' endgame by revealing the deep, interconnected, terrifying fate between Harry and Voldemort.
A moment of devastating clarity. The hero's path becomes both crystal clear and terrifyingly unavoidable, leaving him no choice but to confront his ultimate purpose.
And the revelation of this prophecy, fundamentally shaping wars and leadership, recalls ancient predictions believed to determine historical outcomes, guiding kings, generals.
Oracles guiding strategic decisions in ancient Greece, Rome. Augury, prophecy influencing leadership choices. The idea of a predestined path holds immense power over human psychology, decision-making.
For Harry, not abstract philosophy. Concrete, undeniable information transforming his understanding of past, present purpose, terrifying future, placing immense solitary responsibility on him.
And in U.S. history, instances where significant information or strategic insight dramatically altered events, intelligence breakthroughs and wartime shifting military strategies leading to decisive outcomes.
Reveal of previously hidden, scandalous information and political scandals changing public opinion overnight, forcing resignations. These revelations, not mystical prophecies, placed immense responsibility on those who received them.
Forcing difficult, far-reaching decisions with profound consequences. Harry's moment is that kind of singular, undeniable truth changing everything, defining his future path.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's heavy, almost mournful tone during the revelation is profoundly impactful. Feel the immense weight settling on Harry, the gravity of what it means.
The solemn implications for this series. His destiny becomes clear.
Rowling crafts a truly game-changing, emotionally shattering moment here, the point of no return for Harry, solidifying his path, clarifying his purpose.
Psychologically preparing the audience for the escalating, unavoidable conflict, his ultimate confrontation with destiny. A moment of devastating clarity.
So how does learning a fundamental, undeniable truth about your purpose, even if it's incredibly heavy, irrevocably change how you view your past, redefine your present actions, and shape your entire future?
It changes everything. If this revelation stunned you, share your thoughts. Like, subscribe, share. Finally, Chapter 38, the Second War begins. After the devastating losses, intense battles, profound grief, Harry and his allies find a new, steely resolve.
BookPodCastZone's narration beautifully blends sorrow and profound hope, acknowledging the pain, the cost, while looking forward with unified, determined purpose.
The wizarding world is now fully, undeniably aware of Voldemort's return. His power laid bare, they brace themselves collectively for full-scale war, no longer in denial.
This concluding chapter is all about the difficult, necessary process of processing profound grief, solidifying collective resolve, and the enduring, resilient presence of hope, even in the darkest times, as a new, terrifying reality dawns.
Rowling masterfully sets the stage for the future, leaves us with a powerful, palpable sense of the immense scale of what's to come.
But also with the comforting, empowering knowledge that Harry and his allies are ready to face it together, united by shared loss, a common, unavoidable purpose, a somber but determined beginning to the next brutal phase.
And the onset of this second war, marked by public acknowledgement of the enemy, a pivot towards unified action. It strongly mirrors the outset of global conflicts, like WWII after Pearl Harbor.
Before that moment, isolationism, uncertainty, heated debate in the U.S. about involvement. But once the reality of war, the enemy's threat was undeniable.
The nation pivoted from doubt and denial to a clear sense of purpose, massive mobilization, often accompanied by collective sorrow for what was lost, but also unified determination, unwavering resolve to face the challenge.
Exactly. Think about the U.S. at the outset of WWII after Pearl Harbor, moving from uncertainty to clear purpose, accompanied by immense collective sorrow, but also igniting unified determination to fight, endure.
That moment, where a community or nation moves from denial and grief to clear, unavoidable, resolute purpose. That's what Rowling captures here, setting the stage for an epic struggle defining their future.
For audiobook listeners, the narrator's hopeful yet somber tone is absolutely perfect, closes the story powerfully, resonantly.
Feel the heavy weight of sadness, loss, but also the unwavering resolve. Steel in their hearts for the immense fight to come. Creates a powerful sense of tragedy and determined anticipation.
Rowling ends this pivotal book not with neat resolution, but a truly stirring call to action, a profound sense of what's at stake. Not a happy ending, but incredibly empowering.
Signaling the battle is out in the open, sides drawn. The true fight has irrevocably begun. A testament to collective resilience against insurmountable odds.
So, what does it truly take for a community or a nation to move from the depths of collective grief to a determined, unified resolve in the face of an undeniable and unavoidable challenge?
It takes immense strength, If you're ready for the next stage of the fight, make sure you're subscribed, like, and share this final thought.
Clue.
So we've journeyed through the turbulent, transformative world of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, witnessing the courageous birth of rebellion, the agonizing paralysis of denial, and the profound, often heartbreaking cost of fighting for truth against overwhelming odds.
This deep dive really reveals, well, it's not just a fantasy narrative, is it? It's a powerful mirror reflecting universal struggles, remarkable resilience found in our own histories, our present realities.
Yeah. We've seen how bureaucratic denial can blind even the well-intentioned.
How insidious propaganda can twist perception, corrupt public discourse.
And how the courage of just a few can bravely spark a widespread, unstoppable movement.
The powerful questions it leaves us with are truly profound. They resonate deeply. How do we, as individuals, choose to act when faced with inconvenient, uncomfortable truths or systemic injustice?
When is the right time to challenge established authority? And maybe more importantly, what are we truly willing to sacrifice for what we believe is fundamentally right and just?
Ultimately, I think this deep dive into Order of the Phoenix suggests that the greatest, most defining battles aren't always fought with wands or grand, explosive gestures.
No, sometimes they're fought in the quiet, unwavering defiance of speaking truth to power.
In the enduring, unbreakable strength of loyalty to one another.
And in the unwavering commitment to a just cause, even when the future is shrouded in uncertainty and the path ahead is just fraught with peril. And that, for you, is our deep dive into Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Thank you so much for joining us on Book Podcast Zone. We really hope this conversation has given you a fresh perspective, maybe deepened your appreciation for Rowling's incredible work, and definitely provided much to ponder.
Until next time, keep seeking those surprising nuggets of knowledge hidden in the stories you love. And always remember, the truth is indeed the most dangerous and ultimately the most powerful spell of all.